It's actually the open bracket hero that can stop the broccoli onslaughts. 3, 2, 1. Let's get ready to go into game number 4.
All right, immediately we've got these portal selections, Golden Symphony, Training Dummy, and item payout. Looking like either Symphony or that item payout coming through.
And you need to remember the players are currently second and third in the standings. Only need really a 6 to make it into that check as well. So they are the ones that really can start contesting Broccoli right away and trying to see what he's trying to do and stop that in the process.
Another way to think about it, 2 players, I believe, are guaranteed to join Broccoli and check if the game in the series doesn't end right here. So we will see what ends up happening in game number 5, which also can continue to heat up exponentially.
Yeah, exactly. 3 players can't all go 8. So even if they go 8, 7, 6, the 7. Yep.
Why does every streamer say that then? I don't get it.
They're like in third, and they're like, I'm going 8.
It's like stage 7. 3 people are me.
Ah, it's an 8. Going dead last.
Take a look at Broccoli's spot here. Starts off with a Lilia, and I got a chance to talk with Kevin Parker between rounds. He's like, man, I know Broccoli's playing well, but like, sheesh, he also feels like he's getting all the roles. How good is something like early set Lilia here in your opinion, Mort?
Like I said, I think
Halo
early
Sian,
Lilia is
belum
quite
tidur
good,
Sian.
but usually you want the KDA or the
Atau
super fan
bangun
version.
juga.
Both of those open up a lot more lines, have a lot more power early, whereas the 2 Sentinel, it's a little extra armor. and
Broccoli
bar,
checkmate,
and you
ya.
usually find that second Sentinel anyway through things like Asante and Garen, so it's kind of not the most desirable one. I think for now we're going to let it roll. And the other thing is we've seen with Broccoli, this has been his strategy, right? He usually doesn't buy these headliners in stage 2. If anything, he lost streaks. And then we're going to see that level 6 find the 3 cost that we've been seeing throughout this tournament.
Yeah, realistically, unless he sees an opening that feels like a guaranteed win streak, it feels like he's a lot more comfortable with just the full open for stage 2. A lot of other players have not liked that because
Anjay baru bangun langsung kau
has
stream.
been such a big part of
Baru
this tournament,
baru mau
especially
tidur
with those
lihat.
harsh cutoffs.
You think about
Iya
Broccoli
tadi.
and the
Kau juga
work
lihat
of
itu.
his potential. Everyone talks about what he's
Dia
capable
mau
at his ceiling.
bokar
This
dulu
weekend, he's showing what he's really
sama
capable of.
sekalian
He's done
sholat.
last tournaments before, even though he's qualified. Can he get over the hump as we take a look at the 2-1 augments?
Gonna be gold augment to start things off.
Gold
Some gold
augment?
generation, their lucky streak available for Broccoli.
Oh, ada
to try
lucky
and
streak.
again accelerate into that fast 8, fast 9. Nothing too crazy. Looks like from all the
Si
other
Broccoli
sides.
oh di itu ya.
But
Ada
double
edge law,
from that,
ada
one of the
buat
first
living
few games.
danger.
Can work out from a loose streak angle.
Yeah, rolls past
Ngambil
the,
panah
lucky,
kayaknya.
A gambit as well. I think very true.
Lagi dia cara main player bang. Yes, sama.
That's going to be some extra component power. And again, for Broccoli here, he's got to be playing for first place, right? So every
Bakal Lilianya bakal diambil.
can't be tempo plays. This has got to be things that cap that board.
Ini cuma butuh 6 poin lagi kayaknya. Bakal menang. Hard steal.
It's a new one, and also it's I love what you're highlighting more.
Oh, bukan yang rapid fire ternyata.
The ability to change your play style and shift.
Tapi nggak bisa dapet santainya ya.
Oriented as a player, like to be consistent. And so we'll see if he can get stopped by someone like Kevin Parker, who's playing 3 out of 4 by the way on this Filio.
Pro player rata-rata mainnya ekonomi ya. Soalnya bakal ke 8, ngejarnya ke 8 sih. Terus baru ke 9.
The Titan's resolve being something people don't want to slam as much, but there are quite a few units that have been.
Mungkin ada managing reroll bang? Nggak ada. Nggak ada di sini. Kebanyakan main Senna. Kalau aku lihat tuh main Senna, terus mereka tuh pada bawa apa? Red buff. Ya red buff buat nge-counter apa? Frontline. Bakal diikutin itu next di ranked kayaknya red buff.
That's a great idea.
And I think Argent's Resolve is a really underrated augment. A lot of people look at the stats and the surface. It's not great, I'm not gonna lie. But I will say that doesn't mean that you can't play it. And also,
udah round berapa bang baru bangun? Game 4 ini udah game 4. Bisa jadi nih kelar lagi nih. 4 game lagi juga ya. Sama kayak World kemarin kan 4 game lagi. Kalau si Broccoli bisa juara 1 apa 2 kayaknya.
Again, all he has to do is not go 8, so that kind of makes sense. Don't take the risk, don't do the lost streak. But again, the other thing here is that with Broccoli being the only player in check, you've got to make sure to stop him.
Any
And
spell
so I almost
weaver,
wonder
nggak
if, like,
diambil.
everyone in the lobby should be
Lebih
playing
mencari
really
true
hard
damage
tempo
kayaknya.
to try to stop him, see if they can make sure that he
Apalagi
never
tadi
reaches
true
that full
damage.
cap that he can win the board off.
That's a really fun thing though, because we talk about, you know, the World Championship title did it 4
Caitlyn ya.
games, and everyone was still playing.
Dia bakal dicari ntar deh. Diikutin gak sih? True damage Caitlyn guys, nyari spatula doang.
It's kind of reminiscent of that with Broccoli playing open fort on stage 2, potentially looking to go into whatever composition he's going to play after other players have started to settle.
Yeah, historically, lose streak has been much better for playing for first because you get to pick the carousels, you get to pick your spots. When you spike, in win streak, you get last pick priority, you don't get to have the best items, and so you're
Udah level 5 baik.
So Broccoli setting himself at least in a really good position to do it.
What a strong tempo start here for double as well. We understand now why he went 5.
Si double harus sih.
4 booster spike could be huge in early stage 3. 3 country online, both Ergo
Karena
and
benar-benar idola
Slam
sekarang
as
nih.
well. On Noel's side, we saw Sniper's focus picked up from that portable.
Soalnya itemnya juga itemnya nanti bisa dipakai di akhir-akhir.
As well.
Yeah, it's definitely a powerful
Lu
artifact.
champion
Anything
late
that can shoot across
kayak
the board, gets all that extra
Sona,
power from the range, really
terus
powerful here.
Zeke
We get a
juga
good
itemnya
feel
kayak
of all
gitu.
of the augments.
I like the level
Attack
even more
speed
from
sama
double
apa?
because, you know, you
Sojin.
sacrifice some econ to push the level, but you have cut above, and because you're going to be winning all of these rounds, chances are you might be able to make up that 1 or 2 gold that you might have missed by, you know, not going to 10 as early.
Yeah, I will say that items like, or rather the augments that give you items like the Deathblade and cut above is a little bit awkward. It feels like Deathblade's in this interesting spot where theoretically it's just like the best item on all the 80 champions, and yet when I see people picking items, is it because of sword economy more? Like, is that why people aren't building Deathblade more?
I think it's part of sword economy, but also a lot of the AD
bikin
have,
Asur.
like, built-in attack damage percentage as well, right? Like Big Shot, for example, already has that.
Double
so
gak dipakai itu ya.
Definitely
Saya jadi Angel.
like Infinity Edge or Giant
Not
Slayer,
good at
things like that. So you end
Angel.
up
Apalagi
not
dengan
really
country
winning. And the
begitu
other
ya.
thing is that there is a massive premium right now in Shojin.
True.
And so every Deathblade you're making is 2 Shojins you might not be, and
Level 6 for double. Stays down 3 gold, adds in, as I mentioned, the 4 bruiser as well, so a massive spike here. Has to almost guarantee the win streak up to stage 2.
That's so unusual when he's
For-
going up against
for
a very
bruiser.
difficult to kill Olaf. Olaf in this setup can actually be tricky, and we'll see whether or not he has enough DPS to actually take it down.
Yeah, I mean, being able to grab that Hodge is also going to help just Olaf sustain through, but there's so many units
Menarik
on this
juga sih
board.
awalan
Who's trying to
4
win, man?
bruiser
You can't
gini ya.
fight through that, right? There's just so
Sama
much
counter ya.
here. But KZ Double has 7 units because he's playing country as well.
Leveling to 6, and this is something that we've seen not once but twice today. What do you make of it, man?
I think, as you mentioned more, Double just wants to make sure he's staying stable in the early game. Doesn't want to have any chance of going 8th. We saw the last 3 games, there was a chance there. On those roll lines, we missed a little bit. Was not as flexible as he usually is. It could have been a problem.
Yeah, I think also with the augment, right, with the extra Deathblade, the ability to generate that gold, it's actually pretty good to just
Itemnya cuma satu doang.
get
Oh
that
enggak deh.
extra gold back, build your
Ketutupan
econ.
aja.
So I do like this play here. It's also more player damage across the
Halo,
board.
Bang
If you face
Botol.
Broccoli, that 1-2 extra player damage you're doing could make a massive difference here. So we'll have to see.
Broccoli meticulously scouting, trying to see if he can lose this fight. No item slam, 3 heart steal in. He probably was even willing to sell.
Oke, katanya dikasih ke Jinx dulu ya.
Before committing his items, he's being very careful with how he's approaching his loot.
Biasanya sih nggak bakal mati sih.
Now he knows he's gonna lose. He's trying to kill an extra unit or 2.
What I really like about this is usually stage 2 Heartsteel, I'm not as big of a fan because I'm like, oh, you're sacrificing health for what a component.
That is true.
But Broccoli already was going to open fort this stage. It didn't matter if he had Heartsteel or not, he was playing around open fort. So if you get to tech in Heartsteel, you're just getting an extra bonus from something you already wanted to do.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, though, that like 3 heart steal stage 2, this is 6 gold, right? We're not swinging the fight anything. This is nothing crazy. But like I said, the fact that we're lost streaking level 5 40 gold, that's the big story here. Now, comparing this to Tidal, who was able to win it on game 4, the big thing with Tidal was when he did that roll down on 3-5, he found those 2 Mordekaisers, right? That was a bit of a high roll, but it really allowed him to just dominate the lobby from the rest of the game. So the question is, what is Broccoli's 2 Mordekaisers, right? What are we rolling for? What is it that's going to spike us?
Di Sasa mah cuma dapat 5 poin doang ya.
I believe it's the 3-2 level 6, find that 3 cost. What 3 cost will he find?
Taking a look at Sasa, Rage Blade Slam, which might look innocuous, but Rage Blade is actually quite an unusual item to choose right now unless you want to play for a level 9, but that's sort of indicative of what's happening. I think a lot of these players, Sasa, Humbug, feel like they have to swing big because if they go first, they're still an entire first behind. of catching everybody
Katarina
else.
country.
So let's see what he can do there.
Diambil dulu
Kevin, despite the
buat
3-4 in that very
tengah-tengahnya.
first fight in stage 2, relatively healthy with that Olaf as really a big carry in stage 2. We saw it from Canvas in that last game in round 4 yesterday.
The other big thing to call out here is we have 2 win streakers. It's the first time we've seen this today, right? Double and Humbug, both at 100 health, both looking pretty strong. Will they face each other? Humbug has
Oh, Senanya dapat guys, udah ada Nasor Truth sama Akali anjir di Humbug.
Here we go. This is the matchup to see who is going to keep the win streak. Humbug really needs those points. KC Double trying to keep that momentum going. But the Senna, just we know how powerful that could be. Hecarim comes in here.
Lawan double ya, sama-sama win streak-nya menang di menang si double sih. Gak kuat anjir.
And KC Double is going to continue his win streak.
Yeah, Double's front line is just way too oppressive.
Tidak kuat.
Senna's damages, but she can't get through all of that, and the fact that there's just so many units there for Double, it makes it just way too overwhelming.
3-2 Augment coming in. I'm actually really surprised about the Archangels on set, but I really think
Oke, gold lagi Augment ya.
that shield in the middle of the fight and keep himself really tanky.
Uh-oh, for Double, I believe he's picked on Threeza Crowd there. Had Epitaph, but Threeza Crowd even stronger in this spot. Could potentially commit into the country line.
And we haven't seen much 3-cost reroll ever since we saw the MF incident on game 1. And I think Threeza Crowd is one of those augments that really elevates and takes it over the top where you can win.
Yeah, I think Threeza Crowd in particular with Country, right? You're playing the Urgot, you're playing the Samira. If we can find that Country Samira, it's that version in particular that
dipakai sementara itu.
You don't have to play one of the weaker Country units. You can play another 3-cost. And again, the other thing is we've got to watch Broccoli's 3-5 roll down, or actually 3-2. So
Om sandalan buat nge-push sekarang malah rebutan iya. Iya, terus damage bukan.
And rolling from there. In the meantime, Double61 continue his streak, going up against Ashbu, who has the Yasuo to choose, but this is around the point where Yasuo falls off really hard. He's very dominant stage 2, but stage 3, I feel like he's entirely manageable.
Wah anjir, Bruisernya cuy.
Yeah, exactly.
Geragasnya cuy.
Frontline units, that is going to be Double61's board. And Ashbu does have some very good items slammed for melee carry specifically, but when I look at those, it really screams that Ashbu wants to hit Zed.
Si double main country kah?
Eventually going into late game playing around Kiana.
And for Double, just the perfect augment for this stage of the game. It almost guarantees the win streak across the entirety of this stage 2 with how much.
Udah dapat trash juga ya.
And already has the set, the Samira, and the Urgot on his board.
Yeah, all right, looking at this Yasuo, like you said, this is where Yasuo really starts to fall off. These are great items for something later, like a Viego, like a Zed, possibly even a Yone 3. That's definitely some options. But right now, it feels like it is going to start.
Ya dia udah nyimpan Yone 1. Memang bagusnya ntar buat pindah ke Yone kalau enggak Viego pilihannya. Wah, Infinity Edge Kisante anjir.
Tries to clap back at that front line. I mean, Kasante, it's not that it's a very good thing to do, it's that it keeps his items versatile. That being said, Sniper's focus. I know that when it first came into TFT, it was insanely powerful, and since then it feels like we haven't really figured out what to do with it in Remix Rumble. What's your favorite setups for it?
Ezreal is definitely my favorite setup. Benefits from all the stats, and when that ult hits, that's going to give you that extra oomph to maybe one-shot the backline. Karthus was popular for a while.
Wah, Gragas. Oh, gak kuat Gragasnya.
Just not quite enough oomph without the
sekarang mau belajar tempo fast 9.
That's a big deal because
Bang, muka pro playernya ketutup di punggung. Wah, jadi sebentar. Kita pindah kemana ya?
This is really good for Broccoli. This could be the beginning of Broccoli trying to make his comeback once more.
Yeah, the Samira for Double. Great pickup here if he goes for it in the end. No, goes for the Vex instead.
Yeah, Broccoli now with the spatula has the sword.
Oh, Broccoli juga ngambil spatula ya. Ada 2 spatula berarti.
Akali ends up being really powerful, powered up by the Senna that you usually have on the board. But if we look at his board, he does have the Akali. So, yep, there's the true damage slam.
Setbooknya hilang ya.
The Akali in, so we're definitely going to see another true damage line from Broccoli here. The question is, do we find another Caitlyn? Is that how we, cap it up, or
Okay, he's going
something
to
else?
7 on 3-5. I was gonna ask if we thought he was gonna wait.
Bikin true damage lagi si Brokoli.
Sends it now, just trying to get some power on the
Kayaknya bakal
board, turn around
ntar
the
diikutin deh.
That's interesting. He leveled to not play a Kali, or did he play a Kali? Maybe we switched POVs to Kevin
Switch to
Parker
Kevin.
to take a look, but that is interesting because he is on the poorer side, and he's gonna need a lot of gold to get to 8 because you want to play true damage on a 4 cost. Looking at true damage Zed, looking at true damage Caitlyn, so on and so forth. So we'll see if Brock is able to do that. In the meantime,
Katarina harusnya sih
trying
menang.
to continue his 4 streak. He's currently
Kevin.
on fire, and this crowd diver counter, even though it's nerfed, still pretty potent in these mid-game spots.
A very good stage 3. It felt like it was always really good at just stabilizing your board immediately if you saw in stage 3, and then you could play the reroll because of just how good that headliner bonus was. Now we're seeing a lot of players play it on 2-star. We actually saw someone play it all the way to like stage 6 or stage 7.
Tak kali cuy.
Well, but the
Udah
pake
dapet
is
2 kali.
The 2 Mordekaisers.
What's your
Here's
two
2
Mordekaisers?
Akali's.
Jeez.
Mordog, have you been pressing buttons?
I've been right here the whole time. The thing I'll say is that if everyone's looking at the situation, now that we know what Broccoli's playing, right? We're probably playing true damage. We've got that emblem. We've got that.
Iya, ini mental
What
damage
this is going
harusnya
to do
sih.
is any armor or MR based strategy probably goes down in value. You're going to want a lot of health.
Mungkin dijual ya
Things
itunya.
like KDA can be really good here. We've seen some RE boards really wreck the true damage. So something like that can be the counter. The other thing is that you've got to hold these Akalis and maybe.
Ternyata dimasukin Akali Hodge-nya. Yang bagus Akali Hodge. Paling nyari lifesteal lagi sih.
Caitlyn with a 2 damage pack would be big, and you already almost have the Akali 2 anyway, so the headliner probably will try and be Caitlyn for stage 4 at least for Broccoli.
Here's the hard thing though, is wow, that's actually a
Big
pretty
loss.
big loss. I'll say here's the thing though, is that true damage emblem is so versatile. That's what makes it so insane. It's not just the.
Oke, Brokoli dapat apa? Duit sama?
The right champion.
Dapat
So
item.
many different champions can use true damage. Who doesn't like true damage on top of their carry output DPS?
Yeah, for sure. Usually it's just Caitlyn because it gives you that 2 rapid fire, which gives your team that 10% attack speed. That's kind of the natural
Menarik
one,
itu
but
sih.
like you said,
True damage
there are
Caitlyn gak
so
sih,
many
guys?
other choices. You could slap it on something like a Yorick. You could slap
People
it.
have said.
That's another one. Yeah, because it gives you that crowd diver. So definitely a lot of options. It's not just one, and that's why it might be kind of hard to.
Ke Z juga bisa katanya si Mordok ya. Diambil.
To hold to stop you.
Twitch.
Twitch?
Bot.
Headliner.
That's a little unusual. You don't really often see Twitch as the headliner.
Gua.
Broccoli could have up here. Usually people are not looking for 2 cost headliners.
I feel like maybe.
Iya, dia tuh kenapa ngambil 2 cost headliner gitu? Buat eksekusionernya kayaknya.
He's gonna give him more little buddies value onto his Akali. Essentially, with linking the executioner, he's thinking that might be enough. I'm not convinced, but at least that feels like the thought process behind playing around the Twitch. It was a 2 cost.
Ego
that gives him execution.
diambil.
That is a great micro optimization. If that even saves him, 4 health, that is the kind of heads-up play that you want to see at the highest level of TFT.
Oh, Brokoli nyawanya tinggal 34 ternyata.
All weekend long, he's been illuminating on a big shining light on units that are underplayed. In the meantime, Ash moves, kind of leaning back and slouching in his chair a little bit different kind of body language for him.
Itu itemnya si Yone juga mengerikan nih.
Sasa's board, Sasa needs to come up big. Sasa does have a ton of gold, and Ash move, by the way.
Tapi Kaisanya
making 10 gold this turn.
wah, pelosnya nggak ada itemnya lemot banget. Yone headliner guys.
Being contested, someone else
Yeah,
grabbing a
Kevin
bunch
Parker's
of them,
5.
and he never found the headliner himself.
Oke, gold
Only
lagi.
found 2. He's in a
Hawkman-nya.
spot that feels really rough, and that's why we're seeing that in the body language. He's not sure where to pivot to because he's out of gold on level 7.
Oh, ngambil support si Brokoli ya.
Level 8 for
Ambil
Broccoli,
attack speed.
trying level here, trying to find
Oh, naik ke 8 langsung dapat Akali anjir. Oh, Caitlyn lagi dong. GG anjir. Dapat Caitlyn lagi true damage guys. GG gila anjir.
This is a very scary situation for the rest of the
Oh iya, portalnya golden symbol nih.
He has the true damage emblem.
GG sih. Terus dapat attack speed juga supportnya.
We literally just saw
Fix,
him play
guys.
something like this last game.
Apakah ini fix?
Now we are on, he's only got 34 health, so he's
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Tapi nyawanya dia tinggal 34 sih.
It's not like this board is infallible. I think part of the reason why is other people in the lobby were not playing at strong boards with Akali 2 and Caitlyn 2 at 4-2.
Tapi tuh ngeri banget gitu. Lihat tuh Caitlyn-nya.
The beginning of the championship march.
Apakah bener 4 game lagi? Kayak round sebelumnya lah. Dah, Caitlyn terdamage, iya makanya. Berarti kita harus membikin apa guys? Terus damage emblem. Oh, ada juga si Noel juga tuh. Tapi sayangnya enggak. Caitlynnya cuma buan ya.
Yeah, you look at Noel's board and you feel like he tried his best to kind of contest.
Okay.
This might actually, by the way, this is Sniper's focus.
Ini sniper fokus ya.
This is going to be a lot of multiplicative power and it's got.
Dan damage-nya lebih sakit
If
harusnya.
anyone can stop it, it might be, hey, you're you but me, but I'm better. Like, that might be the kind of thing that
Ini
can stop it.
pertarungan Caitlyn. Caitlyn terdamage. Oh, mix foto true damage juga. 3 orang pakai true damage emblem anjir. Tung. Apakah aku harus main Caitlyn true damage sekarang, Bang? Bisa jadi.
Sometimes you have these lobbies where they have their own metas what everyone's playing, but this is a lobby where true damage is so highly valued. We see 2 different true damage Caitlyns. We see another one on the board.
Zik, Kiana. Oh, Kiana. Noel. Oh.
We're talking about players that could maybe stop Rocket League throughout this stage 4 and 5. Double still first in the HP standings, has a chance to cap his board out with Freezer Crowd as well. Potentially, we don't know yet if he's re-rolling country, if he has a chance to actually get close to those upgrades.
So I was talking about how health is the counter to true damage, right? A 3-star Yone, for example, is going to have very high health, constantly heal it back up, and that's going to be something true damage will struggle against. So there are definitely things, like this isn't over, but Broccoli is definitely in an amazing position.
He's a likely favorite, but Kevin Parker, he's leveling to 8, by the way.
Kevin Parker udah kan.
Because he knows that Ashman was holding those Yones.
Yeah, one of the big things was the fact that Kevin Parker.
Yonenya juga di kontes. Iloi.
That's going to make it harder for us to actually see that 3-star Yone come into play, even though Kevin Parker does still have.
Dapat Zik juga.
Formula, big roll down, still no headliner. Finds an Alawi, finds a Lucian and shop.
Oh, nggak dapat headliner sama sekali. Oh no.
Is not able to do so. And finally commits once again to that misfortune.
Kiana malah jadi rebutan sekarang, biasanya jarang orang ambil ya. Buat true damage soalnya.
And here exactly where we are once more. Malala looks like he is at least for now, at least preserving HP. Might even get this win over Sasa, who's playing around the disco board. No such luck here.
Disco board.
The loss, and Sasa lives with almost no gold, but
ini harusnya sakit juga sih, walaupun gak headliner ya Caitlyn ya.
The thing is that KC Double now has been slowly bleeding out down to 61 health here, and we've seen this a lot today, right? Where the bottom of the lobby starts to stabilize, the top starts to, use that health a little bit. And now we've got everyone in this really tight range here, 60 to 30 basically. As we get a look at Broccoli's board here, and the big thing for Broccoli, he doesn't have blinged out like he did last game, but he has little buddies, which is another very strong augment. And then this Zeeks. This Zeeks is another very powerful augment, giving that attack speed to the Akali, to the Caitlyn.
Yep.
Allows for
attack speednya, supportnya sih.
Just a really strong board. The only possible weakness here is we only have 2 frontline items. We need more frontline.
Depannya jelek ya, cuma 2 item doang. Kakak bisa Miss Fortune, harusnya nggak bisa sih. Kalinya tembus aja.
Noel taking damage, and we might see one of those situations where there's a big gap in HP. It might be down to just 1 or 2 people.
Apakah kita bisa melihat Yone 3, guys?
And Double 61 seems still so far away from any of those crucial upgrades. He is sitting on 73.
Noel lost streak biar dapat spatula itu iya. Bisa jadi sih itu juga. Jazz enggak tentunya, Pantheon tentunya enggak, Jax juga enggak. Oh, Samira kontri. Tinggal 1 lagi guys Samiranya.
Orbs are going to be making 2-star units, and that's one of them.
The fact that he got the country one in particular here, though, that's massive. That's
dapat country one.
If you look at the stats, that's the highest, highest headliner in the game right
tinggal
now.
Nyari guys, tinggal nyari kok.
Keep an eye on KC Double. Can we find the Samira 3?
Samiranya nggak dapat.
Amumu, stuff like that.
Amumu.
Looking for Samir.
Woo, let's go.
Here for Case double. Does he have last whisper or an item here for
Last whisper.
Samira?
None of these items are really good for her. I mean, yes, you want sword and you want glove, but on the bench there's nothing else to make with it.
Ya, nggak ada item yang bisa
I almost
dibikin.
think you remake Urgot here to move the Hurricane and the Deathblade at the very least.
Ya, paling Urgotnya sih dipindah item-itemnya.
This true damage Z from Malala.
Oke, terus damage Z sekarang.
Oh no, he's stuck. He got trapped behind
Z-nya nge-stuck anjir.
himself. He joined the fight at 24 seconds.
Yeah, a little unfortunate.
Tapi tetap masih
One item, Samira, that's the one thing that gives a little bit of a hope here.
bisa harusnya sih.
More crit items on the Samira for it to
Samiranya
really
kurang
do a lot
item
of
sih.
damage.
Oh,
We
mati.
don't have like the last whisper, for example. That's something that is missing. Broccoli though now on a
Z-nya
5-game
Z-nya bingung mau lihat mana anjir.
Make it 6. So this is the big thing. Is Broccoli on his way to the champion?
One Yone off for Kevin Parker as well. Another player trying to enter what could be.
Oh, Yone satu lagi guys. Gila anjir.
He also is one off Kiana too, which we all know.
Iya, Kiananya juga kurang satu lagi. Kevin Parker. Dia masih nyawanya masih 54 ini. Udah 6 crowd diver ya. Ini cuma menurutku ini sih harapannya buat bisa ngekalahin Broccoli dan lanjut ke game kelima.
For double to play against.
Position here as well is really good, so that way to get focused onto the Samira. So he has time to ramp. A crowd diver's also
as well, so big.
getting the stuns onto the Samira. This is really good for Kevin Parker, but kind of running into the country wall. There's just so much HP. It's Yone though.
Yone.
No last whisper to shoot through.
Dapat itu juga ya, gargan itu ya.
Yeah, if we ever see Samira
Titan resolve-nya jadi 40 bisa 40.
right away because of all the multi hits.
And Ashmu has 2 duplicators. And at this point, he's at his wit's end. He thought that maybe he could cheese that Yone because you can use those duplicators.
Siasimu juga ini rebutan Yone sih. Ya Siasimu punya 2 duplikator ya. Dan si apa tadi Kevin Parker ya? Butuh satu lihat lagi Yone-nya gitu.
All the 18s. So
the top 3 once again, Kevin Parker, Double, and Broccoli have been dominating all of this day 3.
yeah, so it really comes down to
Broccoli, Catherine.
Stop Broccoli. Broccoli right now running away with
I
it.
don't know about that. He's at level 9, 10 gold. He looks unstoppable, and now he's econing up to go to 10. Ashmu, is he alive? Can Noel survive against the onslaught of the country? Looks like he can, because this is also another true damage, Caitlyn.
Double taking damage is so big for Broccoli, right?
Vegas siapanya Vegan bang? Wah. Damage emblem Zik.
Oh my gosh, and Noel, I mean, Noel or Malal, whoever can go, they have 2 emblems, they can go for 9 true damage potentially?
Bisa 9 true damage kah?
So it seems unlikely that we're going to be able to get there in time. But at the very least, you know someone had to take that. If you give that to Broccoli, this tournament's over.
So Runons for double.
Ya harus diambil sih daripada diambil Broccoli ya.
Still, this is your only 3-star on your board. You have to do more with her.
Jazz Emblem's actually pretty nice for Broccoli to continue to cap the board. I mean, it just gets more HP, more damage. He just has to tech in a single unit.
I think it's. I was gonna say it's actually a good thing that he didn't get a great item. There
Satu game isinya true damage semua, iya.
It's not amazing, but it's not gonna be like
True damage meta ini next nih. Yang tulisan dulu dan mana apa tadi? Nggak tahu kayaknya belum jadi boardnya.
Let's see whether or not Malala can make something happen with that second true damage emblem. Ashmu, also on his last chance.
Akhirnya true damage. Buat ngidupin KDA-nya ya. Tapi dia nggak punya kali 2 sih. Oh ada kali lagi tuh. Di shop.
Going up against the country board from Double, we do see that there has been a Vex 3 hit as well. It has an arcade.
Vex 3 juga ya. Oh. Ashmu.
And that is a green light for Kevin Parker.
Yeah, I mean again, even though Ashmu takes
Ini udah final ya, udah Bang Fuma.
he is in check.
Ini udah final banget. Kalau si Broccoli bisa juara satunya kelar deh.
Broccoli on a 9-round win streak here with this true damage board. Has the Jasm again. The one weakness here, if you look at this front line.
Frontline-nya sih masih jelek sih. Tapi backline-nya kuat banget anjir.
And the fact you have the edge of night on the Akali, that's going to allow it to drop aggro, heal back up. That's the real threat.
The biggest thing to look at is he had a pair of Alawis here.
Nah, lawan nih. Itu sama Caitlyn. Siapa akan menang, guys? Caitlyn-nya siapa yang akan menang? Lawan Noel ya. Cu. Oh.
No.
Tuk. Nggak bisa, Akali. Oh. Wah, GG sih, Brokoli menang, guys. Harusnya. Brokoli dah. Cuma butuh 4 game lagi.
Probably the biggest threat because if the Caitlyn got some key snipes here, that would have made a massive difference. But again, the edge of night making all
edge
the
of night.
difference. That was the thing that saved the Akali, allowed her to heal back up, win that.
Dan kayaknya pro player tuh lebih suka Edge of, kadang ada yang suka Edge of Night daripada Titan Resolve gitu.
Going into the PvE round can find another tank item.
The positioning, the items, the reads.
Kurang tebel depannya.
Near flawless TFT, averaging a 2.2 coming into Championship Sunday, and now only 2 doors remain before he can claim the belts.
And he gets a frontline item, Bramble, into 2 attacks.
Dapat Bramble.
Could be incredibly strong. And the big thing to look at is the HP values. Double is lower than Broccoli, and Double has an unwinnable matchup in my opinion.
Lah, Yone-nya si Kevin Parker dijualin ya?
Cannot find that final upgrade on his board, which will give him a huge spike.
No
Iya.
armor reduction either. Using that
And
last
no item for
for
Samira.
Oh my gosh,
So
doesn't
what's
have to
your
go for it.
Yeah, the fact we have a 2-item Samira here, I feel like Double's out of it. It's really just down to Kevin Parker. Can Kevin Parker stop this? Right now we get Broccoli versus Double, it looks like here. And again, that Samira just does not feel that threat.
Ya, Samiranya kurang item
Every
dia.
with the true damage, wiping out just a ton here. The Urgot is alive, but again, watch the Akali. It's going to be able to drop the aggro.
No way.
Nggak bisa.
And that's another win for Broccoli. 11 in a row.
Udah B3 ya? Nggak kelihatan.
Double is completely out of this. He's not beating either of these
Double 10 for
boards.
Broccoli as well. Another spike here.
That's
Oh
another
iya,
win.
udah ternyata.
Could that be enough for Double?
Did we
It
count
seems like
out
it's
too
too
early?
little too late.
Feels like that too.
His HP lead, he's not been able to leverage it and push to 8 and usually add that extra to get over the top.
Kurang kuat sih depannya si Double sih.
Yeah, this next fight.
Level 10 si Broccoli anjir.
And it goes Broccoli's way. That's a very clear sign.
Harapannya cuma Yone sih ini.
There's just not a lot to strengthen here. You have the 2-star Kiana, you have the 3-star Yone. We head into this fight, and it is going to be Kevin Parker versus Double here, so we're still not seeing.
Kevin Parker lawan Double.
Here, and I feel like this might be the end of KC Double.
Ya.
The Yone is just going to be a lot here. Can the Yone get bursted down? He is CC'd.
The Yone stump in the back is so big.
Oh, Yone-nya. Oh, nggak cash lagi.
Look at this Yone go.
Yone-nya.
Wow, and that Kiana also doing a number of work. KC Double 61 is down for the count.
Hampir aja Yone-nya anjir.
It is the 2 EME players facing off Broccoli, but only one can challenge him for that win.
And Kevin Parker still on level 8. I think the biggest thing here will be the positioning for both the Kiana and the Yone.
Yorick too?
Big upgrade.
Finding upgrades to the front line. The last one is going to be that Alawi.
And there's just so much problems with going up against Echo with melee carries with no quicksilver to stop the CC from coming through. That Yone has to go through the hard way.
Yeah, the Yone.
Hitamnya dipindahin ke Yone semua ya. Ke Yone, ke Yorick.
Generate a lot of value. That might be able to swing the fight. So here we go.
Kita lihat.
Tentacles are good choices.
Tentakelnya.
Ray swap, he's on the back line.
Masuk ke black line Yone-nya.
She's got the focus of the main 2 carries. The edge of night is going to help. It's on
Oh, the Yone.
Yone.
It's just the Caitlyn. It's just the
Oh,
Just barely get
langsung hilang anjir.
Looks like he's able to win the fight here. 40 stacks on the Titan's resolve here. Alawi cannot do it by herself.
It's not over yet.
And positioning again was so key there. Yone
Ini positionnya sih ini. Ini tinggal main posisi-posisi. Bling terus damage lagi. Harus diambil sih. Harus diambil.
He has to take that.
Harus diambil itu guys.
That's Alawi too.
Nggak boleh diambil Broccoli itu.
had survived there. My goodness.
Kevin Parker siapanya Peter Parker bang? Kayaknya
We still have a couple more
saudara jauh deh.
on the table here. Broccoli can survive another hit. Kevin Parker has multiple lives.
Still cannot go 9.
Oke, dikasih ke Z ya.
Yone is so key. We talked about positioning into Echo. Those tentacles on the low.
Ya pengen si Kevin Parker pengen ke 9 kayaknya.
Is he gonna ever move them back? Or is he
Soalnya udah
gonna
nggak ada yang dicari lagi.
Yeah,
Tinggal legendary
all
doang.
of this positioning. If the Yone dies quickly, that's going to be a big part. And then the Kiana, as we head into again, probably not the final fight here, but Kiana really watch, see if she can generate that value.
Makanya gila gitu loh. Ini true damage semua emblemnya. Oh, Yone-nya langsung anjir. No, Yone-nya nggak dipindah anjir Yone-nya, Cok.
Yeah, we're going to 7-1 here. And so the nice thing is Broccoli's board is relatively capped here. You know, a Twitch 2 is not going to make the difference. A Kennen 2 is not going to make the difference. Kevin Parker, though, has 50 gold. He's going to be able to go 9. He's going to be able to throw in another unit. There is a chance
Terus dipindah Yone-nya.
to get a bit stronger.
I love that. Even in the height of the moment, Kevin Parker is
Harus dipindah biar gak ketembak. Man, Yone-nya jangan ketembak Catherine dulu deh.
For this win.
Yep. So again, unless something goes horribly wrong here, this probably isn't the last fight.
Oke, Yone-nya
Another
di
glimpse of how this
dia
is
di pojok
going
situ
here.
ya.
Watch the Yone on the other side here. Yep. So he's gonna be able to ramp up. He's got that fully stacked up here.
Nah, harusnya biar nge-stack dulu.
Has healed to full. Now he's
Okay. More cool.
Oh, nggak bisa kayaknya. Nggak bisa sih. Tetap sakit banget, sama legendary-nya udah banyak. Udah Iloy 2 aja.
Broccoli from TFT Immortality. Can he close it out with such little gold, or will Kevin Parker play the spoiler?
The big thing.
Kemarin gimana Bang? Seru nggak? Dapat apa aja? Dapat banyak. Mengibar mesti. Besok sih paling hari Selasa sih paling habisnya bikin itunya. Dan ntar aku ngantor.
So now it's really about watching Kevin Parker's board. What does he find at this level 9 spike? And does this anvil make
Posisi menentukan prestasi iya, tapi udah sulit sih menurutku. Soalnya cost 5-nya si Broccoli udah banyak anjir.
What do we see? We do see a Kiana here that can help a little.
Sekarang udah nggak bisa ketembus.
What are we finding here?
Nyari Iloy juga.
But again, the ammo pop here, there is an item missing on the Zed. Still not too reliable with only the gargoyle onto the Zed right now. Hearthfist 2 comes online for Broccoli here.
I like
Ah, item apa? Sterak paling? Sterak doang sih. Oh, Morera.
This could be the final fight. Let's see who wins this.
Will this be the fight that determines
Final fight, guys.
Yone position the load, and Yone's on the opposite
Oh.
side. Caitlyn now working out to the front line. Yone trying to work his way through.
Oh, Yone-nya bisa tebus.
Kali is trying to hold off and buy time. Yone is getting scored. The Caitlyn's trying to focus on, but Yone is now powering up. The cast isn't enough.
Oh, Yone-nya. Yone-nya.
One hand on
Anjir. Yone-nya. Game ini fight terakhir sih ini udah.
Takes down the Akali through the edge of night, leading into this final fight. This is anyone's game. It's going to come down all to positioning. That's going to
Tinggal positioning doang ini.
Big difference with the Yorick not being alive to continue shredding the Yone for the cast from the Caitlyn. That's been the big difference in those 2 shots from the previous fight.
Yang penting Yone-nya tuh harus keempat nge-stacking dulu, jangan ke-hit dulu. Ke-hit Catherine dulu, jangan ke-hit. Oh, beda. Oke, Yone-nya bisa final fight. Oke, Yone-nya. Yone-nya tinggal sedih, gak bisa sih. No. Yone-nya menang aja. Kevin Parker yang menang ya, yang juara ya.
Thin margins every single fight there. The Yone somehow surviving. We all thought it was over, but somehow literally healed exactly to full HP. We were one auto away.
Kartusnya sama Tentacle bantu stack kita resolve Yone. Iya, malah kebantu itunya. Harusnya dimundurin lagi sih. Malah ngebantu banget itu. Si masih gemeter tuh. Gemeter dia. Gemeter guys minumnya. Begitu dan kah Bang? Enggak, emang tadi aku habis pulang acara jam 11 aja. Capek banget. Aslinya juga masih capek kaki. Dan besok harus kerja Epan, makanya harus tidur dulu. Insya Allah hari ini deh, berarti hari ini ngantor.
You were talking about the start of the show. Gargantuan resolve, not a common build here, but that made the difference. It kept him alive long enough to heal up. And so this is just so intense. What a final fight that was so close.
It has to be one of the higher caps for that Yone board, and he started from the beginning of the game, picking that, keeping the open bow for so long, finding the hodge, playing towards this out from the very beginning, knowing he has to cap as high as possible, he has to win this, he has to deny the first to Broccoli.
Even in stage 4, had 6 Yones, decided to
Berarti lanjut ke game 5 harusnya.
More in that stage 4, let Ashley die, then hit the Yone 3 after while already being on level 8. So I just think perfectly played from Kevin. He really knew exactly how to continue spiking throughout this entire game and find a way to outmatch Broccoli, who hit a very
Anjir ngeri banget Yone-nya.
Yeah, we saw these final fights. It really came down to positioning. We saw
these second last fights.
Right.
Ini loh.
Every fight was so close, and here's that last fight. Just watch the Yone health.
Hampir mati tapi bisa langsung nge-heal lagi anjir. Serut. Zombinya ngebantu anjir. Zombinya ngebantu nge-heal. Ini berapa game Bang? Total ada berapa ya? 6 apa berapa gitu? Oh 8. Tapi kayaknya kita kelar bakal di game 5 kalau nggak game 6 sih. Soalnya udah ada yang checkmate kan.
What an amazing game. Like you said, Froden, if you don't like that, what are you doing here?
Why are you here?
Why?
And for the regional rivalry as well, 2 players from NA, 2 players from EMEA inside
Berarti
as well. So,
masih bisa ngejar Yone atau nggak main full damage kayak telinnya.
Man, one more game is what we get here. Let's take a look at Kevin Parker's journey, and I feel like this graph is so misleading.
No, it is. This is not real.
On how the tension was built. You're like, okay, well, yeah, you're like third, Yone 3, whatever.
The important graph here is you can kind of see
Grafiknya salah anjir. Oh yang menang si Broccoli.
It ramps really high up, stays at the top, and then just on that
Kevin Parker adiknya Harry Potter ya Bang lah, bukannya adiknya itu saudaranya Peter Parker.
And it was Kevin Parker just figuring out the puzzle to make something that could outcap, and then the positioning at the end was so big. Either board could have won, and it just came down to micro things.
I'm curious how Ashton feels right
Kalau ada Jakarta Open gimana guys?
About 5 minutes ago, this guy was down and done. Like, did I just throw my away my opportunity? Did I not get that Yone 3? Now he steps away, and now double 61 gets a big shot in the arm as well, because things didn't exactly fall his way. His items were so tough, yet
Formatnya checkmate 20 ya. Checkmate 20.
the right conditions, but didn't line up, and we know what double
Menangnya di 28 kalau nggak salah tuh.
he wins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anything, if Double or Ashmu ends up winning this, they owe Kevin Parker a big hug.
All right, in the meantime, we have another special guest joining us.
Jadi ada 4 orang lah, 4 orang yang bisa menang harusnya. 28 apa 29? Box nih. Itu sebenarnya banyak momen malah bikin stacking Titan Yone kebantu Jer. Iya, tadi tuh si zombinya malah yang terakhir banget tuh malah ngebikin Yone-nya nge-heal.
Seeing this live event, this audience is amazing. I've never seen a full crowd of TFT fans. I am so happy that I got to be here to witness the fight that just happened, the $100,000 side swap. This fight, this event is gonna go down in history. This is amazing.
Wait, like talk me through those final moments. Did you think that we would see a comeback there, or was Broccoli gonna take it?
We were doing a co-stream over there on Toast Setup, 4 of us from DSG, and when we saw the 7 Yones with double Titans on Gargantuan Resolve, we were like, oh no. We knew there was only like one way he could win it, and it was very close. We saw him win a couple times when he was on the correct side. It was just a 50-50. Yone always goes on the left or the right, and Broccoli he has to guess correctly, and he lost it twice. It's not really his fault. He has to move like 6 units, while his opponent has to move 1. So it's always very hard to do that. But like, it was incredibly hype. It was probably the best moment of TFT spectating I've ever seen.
Well, it's kind of fun when a coin flip happens in Vegas and sometimes can decide some of those final moments. But now we've got 4 players in check. Who do you think can take it?
Oh, if there's one thing I thought was incredibly standout, it's that at the end of every single game today, it was always Casey double, Kevin Parker, and Broccoli at the top. Like this.
Ini bisa-bisa yang bawah itu ya Rebel ya.
Alright. They are absolutely nuts level players. I'm a guy who likes to complain about bad RNG when I lose, but like I have to show respect to these guys. They're turning crazy games. Like Broccoli turned an unplayable game into a 5th place, and then he turned his playable games into 1st, 2nds, and 3rds. So did Kevin Parker, and so did Casey Double. One of these three is taking it, in my opinion, every time.
Bang, lu gak kerja Bang Faras? Nanti jam 7 atau jam 8? Bisa antara dua itu sih. Kalau berangkat jam 7 sampai jam 8. Kalau jam 8 sampai jam 9-an. Checkmate 20 tuh gimana? Aku googling masih gak ngerti. Tadi ada orang yang 20 kan. Ya, checkmate 20 tuh maksudnya yang masuk ke 20 duluan itu maksudnya ntar butuh 1 game juara 1 itu udah menang. Jadi 28. Ambil cuti Bang sih enggak lah. Aku tinggal 4 coy. Aslinya sih bisa ambil WFA sih. Apakah kita ambil WFA? Enggak lah. Ya kerjaan nggak ada yang berat sih. Terus dalam 4 hari aku 3 hari berarti dalam 3 hari harus diamond anjir. Kalian udah lihat yang postingan Instagramnya TFT guys? Aku urutan ke-12. Harus naik ke 10 besar ini. Gimana caranya? Apakah menggunakan cheat? Bang beli kursi TFT Vegas. Kalau misal dikasih aja sih. Nah, kemarin ya berarti. Ya kemarin di yang Pengu Remix Party ada giveaway kursi juga kan, kursi Jinx. Sama monitor. Kalau yang monitor itu fun match, main hyper roll gitu. Brokoli itu kalau 8 tetap menangkah Bang. Bisa menang, tapi kan si Kevin Parker double sama Asimo kan bisa ngelawan juga. Kalau poinnya lebih gede harusnya sih antara 3 itu. Karena ada 4 orang yang checkmate kan di 20. Jadi ini tidak terulang ya. Kecuali tadi si Brokoli juara 1, nah itu udah kelar itu tadi. Ini rasa season kagak dapet apa-apa gitu? Enggak. Sayangnya tidak. Semoga kita kasih saran ya harusnya ke TFT ya. Harus ada apa gitu ya. Paling enggak tuh dapet tactician gak sih guys? Tactician. Kalau enggak, kalau di Runeterra itu dapat itu sih koin gitu-gitu. Bukan koin ya, currency ya.
All 3 of these guys have been competing and are now here to watch their friends Kevin and Zaza.
Ini cuma game selingan lol, soalnya dari dulu semoga nanti dirubah ya. Semoga bisa 10 dirubah. Menurutku ada daily login. Daily loginnya sebulan ya. Tadi kalau Brokoli menang udah juara kah ya? Tadi Brokoli kalau menang udah juara.
both of you hang out a lot with Kevin and Zaza.
Jadi kayak world kemarin itu yang cuma butuh 4 game.
As like a player, I know you see him a lot on the ladder as
3 kali juara 1.
Yeah, he's hanging out in the chat all the time. He's like a really great player, one of the best Germans.
Orang dari Jepang.
And he performs every time in the solo queue, but also in the tournaments. He definitely has a really good shot.
Please lah, game 5 aja. Harusnya sih game 5 udah kelar ini ya. Terakhir nih game 5 harusnya. Berarti jam 6:30 bisa tidur bentar lagi ya, Kis ya.
Okay, should have a good chance to win everything. I'll take that. Now, Zaza coming into this tournament with only 1 game win. Are we worried about that, Dark Hydra, or is he just ramping up?
He's definitely just ramping up. Yeah, don't have to be worried at all. I'm pretty sure Zaza will perform well in the finals, like he always does. He's like an amazing player and.
Iya, sayangnya si Sasa itu. Soalnya kan Sasa kayaknya bagus deh. Tapi malah tusun mulu.
Thank you guys so much, and let's go Zaza and Kevin.
Welcome back. 4 rounds in and 4 players on check. Live from Las Vegas, it's Brody and Azael back on the couch with Gangly and Mortdog. Oh my god, have we recovered from game number 4?
No!
BB gak ada ya? Berarti gak diundang lagi BB? Di Korea berarti dia? Lagi nonton.
Well, it's over. I guess that's it. I can't believe it. Only 4 games. It's happening again, just like the set championship last time. And then the
kan kayak championship last time kan?
Over and over.
Yang apa worldnya 9,5.
Back to back, where Broccoli took the 1, and then there's this positioning battle, right? It's the puzzle part of TFT, and ultimately Kevin Parker takes it.
And we have some people rooting. We have a new Kevin Parker the fan in the midst. Ashmu is Kevin Parker's biggest fan, tier 3 sub.
I mean, we need Ashmu at every tournament. This guy's
guys, itu kursinya
so fun.
dijual nggak ya? Dijual lagi nggak ya? Kan itu harusnya jadinya second ya.
Kevin as well, but I mean, no one cheers harder. Yeah.
Is that Ashmu?
That's live right now. I think.
I mean, we talked about the stress, right? The pressure.
Very stressful.
This is a lot of stress. This is a lot of pressure.
Hey, Las Vegas, can we show some love?
Pasan orang meta, ya. Kebanyakan sekarang reroll di bawah.
Yeah, you gotta love that.
Antara nyari Yone kalau nggak terus damage.
That is in check has a chance here to win the TFT Vegas.
Jadinya legendary buat pelengkap gitu, di pelengkap di terakhir.
But no one is out of it just yet because if you can string off a couple good performances, if you can stave off these people at the top from getting those first, you never know what can happen.
Oh iya, ada Bang Fabian. Ini kalau ada heart rate seru banget sih. Iya, makin gila nanti true damage-nya. Tapi dulu pas gratisan dapat telur gear, terus sekarang cuma dapat hikmahnya doang buat gacha. Gimana ini Bang Fabian? Bisa nggak ya 3 hari ke Diamond?
There's so many storylines going on right now, right? You have these underdogs like Ashmu, Malala looking to show that he can clutch.
I need some help.
And it looks like right now we've got the games ready as everybody is loading in.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1 into our game number 5.
Gimana klaimnya Bang Sim? Ngestak di Emerald 3 Bang Fabian.
It's gonna be a wild one. Hard to recover from that last one.
The preheat is on. 250. Turkey base might be over for some.
Oh, 3 champion.
Continue on for a couple more weeks. Let's go into game number 5.
Whew. All right, so looks like we're going to be doing the 3 champion start here. Everyone gets those 3-1 costs again. Nothing too wild here. And on the right side, you can see the crowns on those players that are in check. They're the players that you've got to keep an eye on. This is going to be wild.
I mean, it's been hard for me to like recover from that last game, so I can't imagine, where the players are at right now mentally. The amount of adrenaline that's running through your veins. You have to be able to, all right, take a breath, compose yourself, focus on the game here, because it has been the slimmest of margins in every lobby.
Yeah, I mean, we said it even at the beginning of the weekend, right? Some players are finding their edge through the game.
Jadi setelah tanggal 14 ya balik lagi ke akun utama ya.
If you are a player that can keep your
ngulang lagi guys, merat lagi, naikin lagi.
It may not actually be over for these players like Malala who could clutch it up, right?
Yeah, Malala, Saucier, Dark Hydra. Yeah, exactly. We might potentially see an even crazier scenario if it doesn't end here.
Yeah, I do want to go back to what Azael was talking about with the mental, right? Like Broccoli being that close off of winning the tournament like you said, you've got to keep that composure. He's been playing so well with that insane average placement throughout the entire tournament. So you just keep it in line here. Decides to go with the Pentakill Olaf, a pretty good start.
Bukannya udah emerald, iya udah emerald. Kan kalau yang keduanya diamond kan, ntar berarti aku balik lagi buat naikin ke diamond.
And 4 bruisers really good in stage 2, exactly. Find the Groggets, whereas Pentakill doesn't really start to come online until like level 5 and 6 when you've got more units to take down.
In some ways, 4 people with check might be easier for players to proceed forward. It feels like you don't have to do anything too crazy. Any of us can do it. Just play our game and see what happens.
Exactly. I think that's the thing. Last game was a very high pressure
favor.
counter Broccoli. This game is your best game. Do what you can. Try to win.
Ada filter main apa tadi?
And do what you got to do here as we get
nggak diambil tapi.
Start here. So again, all of these players well within their comfort zone.
Opening Pentakill emang bagus. Kalau di sini nggak ada yang make sih. Kalau di turnamen ini ya. Oh dia lihat tuh kayak di itu ada yang pakai bruiser kayaknya itu harusnya.
There's going to be some sort of edgelord or crowd diver angle somewhere in this.
Yeah, Kevin Parker with Gargantuan Resolve, so he's going to be.
Oh, dibalas nih pakai gargan. Oh, pakai gargan. Apakah lagi Yone lagi, guys? Si Kevin Parker, guys.
Kevin Parker with a Gargantuan Resolve.
Bisa bikin Titan lagi itu anjir.
It was a good episode to be fair. It was a great episode. I'm down for the sequel.
Yeah, we'll see maybe as he has that early set which can help.
Apakah terulang guys Yone 3?
He has seen him play around it very well before. Will it go again smoothly this time?
And it's not the biggest.
Agresif banget langsung jadiin Morello iya.
When I'm gonna slam Gargantuan Resolve, that you already have another component to that towards that second, right?
Ya kalau di kayak gini tuh udah langsung dipasangin itemnya sih. Nanti paling maybe kalau ada dapet Reforger bakal di Reforger. Asimo, what the fuck? Any.
So much fun. I'm having so much fun. TFT's not stressful at all. I love it. Gold right now on the side. Broccoli with 15 gold. Humbug with 15 gold as well. So Broccoli seems like right back in his comfort zone, building that economy, getting in a good state here. But also.
Kevin bingung antara ambil augment Titan atau augment Edgelord tadi. Iya. Tapi kayaknya dia.
Get them stacking.
Augment Titan nih. Maybe terulang lagi kan. Di Broccoli kayaknya bakal pengen ngalah lagi sih. Semoga aja bikin mikirnya dapetin spatula lagi nggak sih?
You know, I think the thing about Dash Jazz Baby from my perspective, it's kind of hard to scale that comp unless you have the Jazz emblem. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's hard.
Even though Ashmo
Tergantung lah. Kok jadi inget Corgat raksasa.
We've seen crazy things with True Damn.
Corgat raksasa kecoa ya.
I mean, you grab that extra Jazz emblem, then you can be all of a sudden scaling up another really powerful unit. You know, that can work incredibly well. But I just feel like it's such a difficult augment to play around if you don't actually just naturally pick up an MF early, if you don't find that Bard early, because all of a sudden you're in this weird position where, you know, do you roll to actually dig early for one of those to start scaling them up? You also need to hit all your traits.
Yeah, something that helps out there.
It's a Bard 2.
Yeah, you've got the Bard 2, you've got the Heart Steel, but the other thing is that for this trait to do anything,
you need more traits.
You need 3 traits active.
Traits in.
And Heartsteel is not really going to do it, right? You know, generally when I played it, you need to kind of get Superfan and that sort of angle in, so you can hit some early traits.
Sangat ekspresif sekali ya, si Asimu ya.
He is going to be playing Loose Streak and he is going to be playing Heartsteel, so maybe try to economy up a little bit. Hopefully he's going to be naturally into an MF and start to get those traits online where he can start to scale.
Yeah, I mean, so much of the power of that Jazz Baby is that you can build a very wide string of synergies with low-cost units, right? That is the power of Jazz when we're able to ramp up. It eventually allows you to scale up. I actually wouldn't be that surprised if Ashley does find something like the MF off his carousel that he drops to Heartsteel entirely. Yeah, he's not going to get a lot of value out of Heartsteel going into the mid game.
I think that's the play, right? Is don't worry about the item. Find an MF off the carousel if you can. Ditch the Heartsteel. Get them stacking. That's at least your play here. Because if you don't do that soon, you're in a lot of trouble. One other call out, by the way, Double did get a champion duplicate.
Ooh, an MF.
There's an MF.
Ada MF
It is an
beneran.
MF. We'll have to see if he goes for
It's
it.
opposite side also. I wonder.
Bakalan diambil.
Okay, he just cares about the bow. Interesting.
Yeah, I think he recognizes that his item economy situation is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I like
Doesn't really
the
have anything
least
flammable.
about his setup, which was when he picked Dash Jazz Baby, he didn't really have components that leaned into it inherently, so he has to work from behind. But the nice thing is, Heartsteel, maybe it gives him something kind of crazy.
Another interesting augment choice here, Broccoli going with Pumping Up. That's another one we have not seen a ton of here, but that's going to allow him to be strong from that lost streak position as the game goes on. That's going to be a bunch of attack speed, and in the late game, that is one of the most powerful augments as long as you can get to the end game. And if you're looking for a first place, that's a great choice.
And he's been absolutely incredible at being able to do that, at being able to manage lost
Tuh,
streaks, at being
dia
able
udah
to
ngambil, si Kevin udah ngambil itu lagi ya.
lost streaks into successful
Pas
victories.
lagi guys, jangan bikin 3 itu.
That's why he has had, you know, the best first
3
place,
Titan
that's why he
Resolve
has the
aja.
best average placement at this tournament.
More, you called out before, Casey Double sitting with that champion duplicator on his bench. It is the full champion duplicator, which is a little bit interesting when you get dropped to stage 2. It always feels a little, confusing. Do you want to use it on a 2 cost, on a 3 cost? Do you greed for those big roll downs at level 7 and try and get a 4 cost online as fast as possible?
So now, basically, when you get that champion duplicator, it replaces 2 gold. So it's essentially, think of it as holding a 2 gold champion on your bench for a long time. So you have to make that evaluation. I think sometimes slamming it early and making an early 3-star or 2-star 3 cost is the play. But, you know, honestly, if you have to get econ, that can be a play as well. But most players usually greed for that big 5 cost.
Send a pair, by the way, for Malala as well. Has a lot of opportunity.
Oh, udah benar.
Ari, I've been hearing whispers that Ari TF is actually a lot of people's preferred way to play around Twisted Fate. So with that disco line, maybe you can start thinking about it. But with the hand of Justice Slam,
counter ya. Dapat trash juga sih.
So I'm not entirely sure.
Look at this hit for Kevin Parker. Just found the thresh, so he techs in the 3 country. He's got. I think, does he have the pentacle off? He does, right? So he should
Harusnya ntar kalau kalah dijual itu tariknya, tapi kayaknya harusnya menang
But
nggak sih?
hit R2 as well, so has a really strong board right now.
Yeah, Kevin.
Indonesia kuat banget.
In a
And
big
he's on
lead
4
at the
streak.
moment.
This should be a 5 streak, I think. I doubt anyone has a board that can take him down, but it is going to be Malala.
The only thing is, this board tends to be an anti-heal check. Oh, he has a Morello, that's right. So he should have every box check. This should be a 5 streak for Kevin Parker.
Oh, but is the trash going to cast? It didn't cast.
Oh, trashnya nggak nge-cash sama sekali anjir. Sayang banget. Padahal bisa ngebakar banyak.
Yeah, I mean, it is really kind of like the void of this set. It feels like almost getting that additional unit in really does give you so much extra power here.
Oh, Ashmoo.
Oh, Ashmoo is so excited. So it's hard to tell sometimes if he's excited or sad.
That's 2-4 lost streaks
something just
that were
happened.
going up against each other, and that's Ashmoo predicting.
Oh.
He turns around. He's turned to the crowd. Ashmoo finds it. Oh my god.
Tinggal lagi aja.
He protected his lost streak. So
Oh, 2 lagi malah.
Both out of 4 streak. Humbug losing that kills his economy, I feel like.
So here's the thing. Yeah. First of all, he didn't put 3 trades in, so again, he's not scaling.
Kevin Parker udah 5 win streak, tak ada kemenangan kah? Belum tentu juga sih.
You tend to want to play around MF.
Yeah.
More. What else is coming up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, right? Like, is Bard how you win the tournament?
I mean, theoretically, you can scale Infinite. Okay, Echo's
Dapat Echo juga, anjir.
important to think of. He does have more rods than usual. Yeah. Sometimes you could lean into it, but the problem with Bard is he hasn't been scaling it very much with the Dukes nor the Batch Jazz. Let's see.
0, really.
If he does, but theoretically in TFT, if you hit early enough and you have the condition set up, it could actually make up for that deficit of the normal power curve.
So the big thing about That's Jazz Baby is the 3 traits. That's just health, right? It's not really that important.
You need to get to 5 and 7.
You need to get to 5 and 7. 5 is where you get the attack speed. 7 is where you get the AD and the AP. If you can get that attack speed, especially.
Oh, itu orang ekspresif banget, iya emang.
Then all of a sudden you have a.
Sampai dibikin meme sih kalau di Twitter ya.
Throwing those things out, casting like crazy.
Especially because, correct me if I'm wrong, it's percentage AP, right? So.
No, it's still the normal.
Flat?
It is flat. Yeah. But I mean, either way, it's still a lot of built-in power to that champion, and that's.
Cuma kebanyakan gerakan tambahan ya.
Scaling that up. So hopefully he can get those traits in. I think after this Heartsteel cash out, I would expect him to max.
Tapi jadi lebih seru guys nontonnya, jadi ya ada lucu-lucunya gitu loh.
So honestly, I think Ashmoo's kind of playing this game like he's getting 2 gold augments at once at 3-2, right? At 3-2 he's going to get the Heartsteel cash out and most likely immediately try and build out a large string of webs to get the That's Jazz value immediately.
Take a look at the 3-2 augments, another gold. People are looking for really powerful win out stuff. Humbug does have last stand, for example. Humbug needs to make
Ada yang dapat blink out, tapi kayaknya nggak diambil belinya.
Huge reaction when he re-rolled into too healthy. I don't know if he's actually going to consider that, but his reaction was very, very big.
Broccoli had a choice for blinged out, which we've seen him
Si Asimo
play
bigon nih.
well, but I don't think he took it. So we look at Ashman's.
Oh, ngambil golden ticket.
Yeah, golden ticket, pretty good here. Hopefully find that bard.
MF.
Yep. So we should be able to get some traits in here. And then kind of taking a look at all of our crowns right now. Kevin Parker, 100 health right now, 6 win streak. Casey double, 4 win streak.
Okay, cool.
Broccoli on that loss streak.
Oh, is he overrolling here?
He
He's
wants
actually
5 traits. He's committing to 5 traits.
Oh my gosh, I don't know about this call. I
didn't even
think
get
Nggak seneng dia.
That's really, really rough. I think, you know, it's like Moore was talking about. He wants to get towards the attack speed, right? 5 traits, gives you that scaling attack speed. He's pretty heavy committed to the reroll. He took the golden tickets, so he feels he needs to get 5 traits in. He's looking for that bar 3. He was 1 off, so that's why he's committing so heavily, I think, to the roll. You know, trying to get that 5th trait, trying to get that 9th bard, but didn't hit either, so he knows he's kind of in trouble now.
Yeah, economically, he is devastated. He's also on a 7. The nice thing is on a loss streak, so he has maximum benefit from it.
But yeah, the health is getting rough. Like, he's got to hit the bar.
Nggak dapat anjir bardnya, kasihan guys.
Start to stabilize.
He's also
Oh, dapat Lilia, nice.
One of the reasons I think he wanted to go so deep there because you can't really just try and go up to 7.
He's rolling again.
He's looking for
Ngeroll lagi, Nico.
Yeah, he's trying to spike now. And
Nggak dapat bardnya. Bard dapat. Oh. Akhirnya.
Standing up, he's here to play.
Jumping in his seat, and now he's become really important. Right? He has committed so heavy to the reroll. He's gotten super fan in. He's on 5 traits. He has.
Udah ini nggak usah ngeroll lagi sih udah. Tinggal naikin 8 dulu dah.
He's still not out of the woods yet, but he has put a clock on the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is if there is a spatula on the carousel.
He needs spatula on carousel.
Ya. Kalau ada spatula di carousel mantep banget sih.
He needs it for other traits to get to 7.
Perfect loss?
Perfect loss, perfect loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at him fanning himself.
In this kind of situation, you have to remain composed.
Ada spatula?
Please click your shop.
Oh, nggak ada.
No spatula.
No spatula.
I like the caveat there.
Just composed enough
Yeah.
to click the thing you want to click.
You do have to be able to press your buttons to win a game at TFT, in my experience. Wait, unless you're Ashman, actually, did you see the interview where he stood up when it was the final 2 and gave an interview while the game was still playing? And he was still
I didn't
in
know
it?
that was allowed.
And he got first. He got first, by the way.
Udah dapat Sojin, udah dapat itu boardnya Asimo. Iya. Nah, dia makanya nyari tier kan. Tinggal Sojin doang. Oh, udah dapat itu Sojin tuh. Udah ada pedang juga kalau nggak salah tadi. Si Hambak. 80 gold anjir.
And honestly, he has some of the biggest to prove right now that he is still in it to win it because he has now got 7.
Okay.
8-7.
He's Sasa.
Can he find a way to turn around? And Sasa's in the same boat as well. And here's the thing about rerolling. Other people can reroll as well.
I mean, and he hasn't rolled. He's just, this is the thing about hitting, right? He just has 7 centers, 0 gold spent on rolls.
That is true.
Anjir, rollnya 0 loh guys. Dapat 7 sena. Anjir, ceritanya gimana? Tanpa ngeroll anjir. Rollnya kosong guys.
The headliner. All of a sudden you find a headliner in your shop and it gives you a great position to reroll.
Iya, kebanyakan dapat trot ya soalnya. Daripada bikin Nasta Gunblack kan, mending pedangnya dibikin Sojin.
The other reason why to not necessarily roll down right now is to maybe wait until other people transition off of it and then try to hit it.
How do you feel about the angle of just, you know, playing a little bit more slowly, go to 7, hope that people are transitioning out, and then roll at 7? Because you only lose 5%, I believe, off the odds for 7 on the 2 cost. So to me, when I see that I'm heavily contested, I'd rather just push 1 level and then roll.
I really love
Sena. Oh, enggak ding. Brokoli ternyata ini. Oh, si Brokoli sih pakai senanya juga.
But the ceiling of this augment is immense. Not just because you get to make optimal items, but that's how you start picking up those crazy emblem combinations in the late game because you can break apart things that are craftable and make it to what makes sense for your board.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the fact that he has the health to work with means even if he has a crazy turn where he has to transition and gets a little dizzy, he can afford 1 turn where I'm going to
4
build
big
the
shot.
best items for the late game board versus that early game board. That's going to make a massive difference.
Ya sih Broccoli suka banget pakai itu ya, dua frontliner ya.
Big call out here, by the way. Ashmu lost again. We're on a 9 loss streak here. So despite hitting Bard 3, we're still
9 loss
losing
streak,
fight.
cuy.
That's a little scary, right? We expect the Bard 3 to then spike and tempo us back up here. So, you know, you can only ramp up so long. You need help to get that Jazz Baby going.
And I think also as part
Wow, dicium sama Ahri itu.
I have Lapis on MF. I have Shojin now for Bar. Shouldn't that be enough to win? He doesn't have any frontliners, and that's a really big thing about those Jazz Superfan boards.
Tuh, Ahri dengan Ray the buff.
But just a single chain vest is not enough, and Jazz nerfed that HP.
Halo Bang, siapa yang jago banget?
Win a fight here, so able to get that going. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But again, Kevin Parker right now, the other player in check with us 26 points. We see the salvage coming into play here. Sells the units, now has a ton of components. What is he going to play around? Finds a Z at least for now. Definitely want to put in enough units to at least win the PvE round, though. I don't think I've seen anybody lose the Wolves.
I think another thing too is nobody's rolling for 3 costs alongside Kevin Parker. In the previous game, we had the one benefit of double 61, also going for country.
Dapat item banyak.
So it felt like that was easier for him to work with. This game got the 2
Lux,
cost reroll
BDM.
unless Ashmus gets a lot of MF.
Ini lagi kah? Tapi harus steal sayangnya.
It's a hard skill variation. It is going to be a little bit weaker. He's not rolling significantly more though.
Maybe you could rent it.
That's what I was going to say. I think he just plays it for a bit.
I agree. He's got items. I mean, that's the nice thing about salvage bin, right? You can play very
Tiga titan kah?
Makes it significantly easier to actually rent these headliners.
Nggak cukup ternyata, nggak bisa bikin 3 titan.
As well. So everything is looking really solid here for Kevin Parker. Oh, he went for a Warmog instead. I guess at this point he's going for 3 items onto his Urgot. Knows it's all temporary. With Salvage Bin, you're incentivized to slam anyways, so just get items onto your champions. And again, it's not necessarily just about Yone. This Urgot can still do a lot of work in the mid game as well.
Yeah, for sure. The Urgot doing damage, applying that burn, and again, just holding these items temporarily, trying to stay.
Enggak lah, nggak punya life steal nangis tuh Yone ya. Paling nggak antara Blood Trister kalau nggak Hodge. Pilihannya itu.
You can see Ashmu went 7. He's on 10 gold.
Tapi kita nggak tahu juga sih dia bakal tetap pakai itu, soalnya harus steal ya, bukan Eslord atau enggak Blood Diver.
If he's actually able to stabilize.
Yeah, Little Buddy's a powerful option here. We're getting a view, again, gold. We've got some portable forges. We've got, you know, some other augments here, inspiring Epta. So we'll have to see what everybody ends up picking.
We got it I saw.
He's got to pick quick. He's got a lot of work to do right now. Let's see.
Oh, main EDM.
95 gold. Time to.
Not rolling.
You got to spend.
What is going on?
He does have last stand, right?
But you don't want your last stand to proc now.
No, you definitely.
Is he trying to fast 9?
That is so greedy. I mean,
you know what? What's the difference between an 8 and a second right now, right? He wants a first. That's when you play back in the tournament.
I think that's the big thing right now is the fact that he's in this position. So
and he's rolling with the Lux headliner still in, so he didn't get opportunity to get a big 4-cost upgrade. It looks like he is. He's trying to roll minimally to see if he can get to level 9. He's trying to
fast 9
like Ribbon and Lux, but I'm not entirely sure if this is good enough to get him to 9. He might be able to win some fights. That's Ezreal 2 on the other side.
Ezreal 2
from double 61.
Oh my god.
Such a difference. And it has that sustain on
Nggak
it.
kuat sih harusnya.
Actually knock it down. He's gonna lose another round.
Jinnya juga nggak ada damage. Laser ketiga. Ah? No, lasernya malah ke situ anjir.
That's not enough to proc last stand here. So still has 2 lives.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, definitely struggling a little bit here.
Mungkin dia ngincer Kane, bisa jadi juga sih.
Kevin Parker and Malala once again made to meet. That's an early Sona.
Milalanya Sona.
Poppy with double Titans Warmogs on the left side for Kevin Parker. We've seen
Poppy guys. Wah, ini Poppy gila sih Poppy guys.
He already has the Ahri headliner, has that Akali 2.
Cocok juga sih buat Poppy itu, item-itemnya.
I always find it difficult playing around KDA when you have the support items though. You know, when I'm gonna play the KDA lines, I tend to shy away from that because I often feel that some of these configurations make it really difficult to get value.
Nah, di 8 di sini harus bisa itu ya. Nge-stabilize board.
It often depends on your board as well.
Kita lihat Ahri.
Getting KD value is really powerful, just a lot of stats. That's an Akali and an Ahri too, with only 1 item each. It's almost like Malala's playing endless.
Tapi seharusnya menang sih. Walaupun cuma 1 item ya guys ya.
is scaling, but he's at level 8-0.
Look at those hard stacks.
I don't know how strong he is right now. Let's see if you can get a really big hard steal cash out next turn. Looks like he's going to cash out soon.
All right, last stand proc for Humbug.
Oke, si Humbug last stand.
He's gonna have to spend all his gold right after carousel and see if he can actually win this back.
Oh, nggak ambil
With
sih.
last stand proc. Can't
Sona.
lose another
Waduh,
round.
diambil sonanya. Ya udah ambil Zig
He goes
dia.
for 5 gold, but I just think Humbug's too broke for this.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to get to 9. And even if he does the like
get a
one
couple
roll,
rolls.
even if he does the one roll and hits the
His
headliner,
frontliner's gonna be garbage.
either his frontline's going to garbage or he has no damage.
Yeah.
It's one or the other because he has no more gold to buy. Because if you roll with 20, that and 15 are gone, what do you have left?
And I feel like we've seen that so many times this tournament where people are really focused on getting these headliners that are carry that, you know, will give them some direction, right? And they're rolling so heavy to actually hit that.
Broccoli.
Ends up being
3 components.
3 components pretty nice for Broccoli. He already got a tier earlier from his previous cash out, so he's gotten 4 components from the hard steal that he's been playing. But we gotta see what Humbug gets done.
I think the bigger thing for
It's not, but he
Broccoli,
broke.
He has no headline. Oh, he has a headline Poppy.
Poppy ya.
I think the bigger thing for Broccoli we saw there was not just the cash out, but he had the 3-item Kiana already this early.
Oh, true.
And that's going to be a lot of item generation. If we talk about capping a board for a first place, that's a great way to do it.
Shojin on Zig. You're not trying to play on Zig.
Okay, Zig.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Spark as well, not really a lot of value when you have Zig as your carry. We'll see if he can get it done.
He can even survive this round. This is one of those things.
Harus bisa sih. Kalau enggak pulang tusun ya guys ya. Kita lihat. Harusnya sih bisa sih. Oh, Zig.
Zen is on his Zig. That's gonna be it, I think.
Oh man.
Oh, bisa.
Oh, the Jin.
Jin ya? Hampir anjir.
Even, you know, Humbug having kind of a rough day in 8th place a little bit, but you hear the audience cheering him on. I heard a lot of Humbug crowds. Such love for all of our top 8 players here, no matter how it's going. So that's just really awesome to see.
Don't look now, Ashmo's streaking.
He is, and I think he's literally looking over to the desk and praying to Mort for something to drop.
And he does have 7 trades.
Fast 9 8 place. Ya, sekarang sebenarnya agak
He's got the MF, he's got the Bard, so now
Di
he's
mana gitu?
scaling AD and AP in for his Jazz units. And hey, if he can hit a spat, if he can get another Jazz unit in, something along those lines, and keep this win streak going, that could be huge. But he's going up against Humbug. Let's see it.
Lawannya Humbug lawan Asimo, siapa yang bakal menang guys?
Don't have a Duke count. Also, the front line cracked pretty fast.
Tapi frontline-nya
This Eternal Winter is kind of the death of MF, who's trying to ramp up her attack speed.
Can't get through it.
At least not yet.
Close. Front line does not fall until just now. The MF is now going to be
Oh?
on the Zigs.
Ih, yo, hampir anjir tinggal Jin doang.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, in terms of losses, that's the best possible scenario.
But he was on a 4 streak, so losing that 4 streak going into neutrals really does hurt, right? Because he was hoping to continue this streak to be able to not.
Pada main apa bang? Pada main true damage dari tadi. Tapi sekarang kayaknya true damage-nya lagi nggak dimainin lagi nih. Karena nggak ada spatula sama sekali. Tadi kalau ada spatula pada main true damage. Yang nonton ada 20 orang loh. Pada bangun pagi semua kalian. Itemnya bagus sih. Buat MF. Tapi depannya jelek sih. Oke si Broccoli udah ngelepas head steal-nya kayaknya.
Frontline right now.
Yeah.
And so you've got to level up, find some of that strong frontline. That's going to be a big thing. The nice thing is
Dia seneng banget sama Kettle ini si G-nya ya. Si Broccoli ya.
Getting those extra dudes every cast. That's going to make him deadlier in the late game as well. Broccoli playing around this headliner Caitlyn again. I feel like I've seen this episode before.
He doesn't have true damage emblem though, so.
Kita lihat Humbug, apakah bisa melawan Kevin Parker?
He's playing for a lot more than that. In the meantime, Humbug going up against Kevin Parker's Poppy with Gargantuan Resolve and little buddies. And our front
Telah
is getting
sesama itu ya. Tapi Poppy-nya cuy 40. Gak ada damage-nya, Cok. Kita lihat bisa sih tapi harusnya. Bisa. Soalnya Zig-nya ngebantu banget. Masih melor nggak bang? Udah enggak aku.
TF.
Yorick?
A little bit more
Ooh.
damage. Yorick. Wait, he has enough gold for this. Yeah, he can sell it.
Ooh.
Really coming together.
Oh my god, the makings of the comeback here for Humbug. You can start to see the chance for it to happen.
It's unfortunate it's not the Pentakill version though, because it doesn't have that team-wide buff, which is really.
Ya, untungnya yang Guardian sih untungnya. Kalau Pentakill agak repot,
We'll
guys.
see. In some ways, that Poppy was the tank, and now Yorick is a damage dealer. So roll for roll is not a complete swap.
Yeah, I will say, when you get Yorick 2 in there and you have some items, you also get so many cool casts out that they do soak up a lot of damage. It can kind of act in a similar manner.
Yeah. And it does matter about whether or not he's able to deal with the back.
Oh, Jinnya hilang, guys.
Malala does have the Ari now focus onto the Yorick.
Ari's gonna go on Zig next.
Oh, Zig.
Oh.
Looking okay. There's enough
And Humbug survives again.
Oh.
Humbug looking to make the run here. The other side, Zaza. Does take a
Aduh, Sasa lagi-lagi, Tusun lagi kah?
continue his run.
Poinnya cuma 6 doang dia. Berarti kebanyakan Tusun dia. Terus damage Caitlyn ngeri sih, iya. Tadi 2 kali kayak gitu. Si Broccoli.
That's how you get third.
I feel like you go 8 to
Si Asimo kayaknya pengen ke 8 deh. Yang Rift Online.
I think you're right, you do need the MF3, but that front line right now, we have an Echo 2 with 2 items, and that's it. We saw that wasn't really working for KC double 2 games
Dia
ago.
tinggal nyari item. Item tank sih itu.
Before you roll down there, you have such better
Kita lihat
odds
Humbug
actually
lagi,
against
guys.
those outs. Like, I'm randomly picking Bailaois, randomly picking...
Lawan Israel True Damage.
Turn a top forward to a potential win.
When did this happen? We have a true damage emerald into Ezreal as well as a Kiana.
Sama dapat Kiana.
Power combination double 61. The only problem is his HP count is quite low. Going against Humbug again. That's a stun onto the Ziggs, but Humbug is marching forward.
Oh.
They won on 1 life.
This is the beautiful part of the checkmate format too, though, right? No matter how far back Humbug is going into this game, he can technically go 1-1-1 and find himself.
Humbug nyari siapa nih? Yorick lagi kah?
Easy solution to all your problems.
Oh, Yorick lagi.
TFT. But double 61 now 3 HP.
Lumayan ya temen juga Warmong buat ke Yorick. Tadi kayaknya Yoricknya masih belum ke item, guys. Oh ya, kurang 1 lagi kan itemnya.
Could be a second one, right?
If you can find a Kiana, or like he has a Kiana with 3 items, right? If you can find one more Kiana and duplicate, that could be something that.
Mantap sih, Yoricknya ngebantu banget. Iya, bisa nge-stalling lama gitu.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of those situations where you have this duplicated this late. Your chat starts saying maybe saving it for next game. You know, so rough situation here. Kevin Parker right now definitely looking very
Kevin Parker dapat Sona. Langsung dijualin buat item ke Sona ya. Udah ke 9 dia. Kane tapi hard steal sayangnya. Dibeli harusnya. Oh, nggak dibeli ternyata. Eloy.
Some people say they don't even really like nearly as much this patch.
You got 5 seconds. There's a lot of guys.
Sayang Kane-nya hard steal sih tadi. Ayo. Item.
Yeah, that's actually really
Itemnya banyak banget.
But yeah, this is the risk he knew that he was trying to incur.
Hah? Langsung mati anjir. Z kuat banget True Damage. Berarti pilihannya tuh True Damage sekarang untuk 04 tuh Z. Kalau nggak Caitlyn ya. Oke, Sasa beneran lagi kan. Tusun lagi.
So right now, KC double on the uprising, Humbug doing well, Zaza getting knocked out, Ashmu on this 4-round win streak with That's Jazz Baby stacking that up. Still on 7 MFs though, still on.
Dia masih ke-7. Mapnya gak dapet kurang 2 lagi.
A lot of players in these situations, they're 2 MFs off, they'll roll a bit deep, try to hit the MF3, and then try to recover their economy.
Emang butuh MF3 sih guys. Terus tinggal ke 8 nyari tanker kalau enggak ya. Humbug lawan Kevin ya. Humbug masih bisa menang guys. Tapi Eloy-nya gede. Tapi nggak bisa ya.
Broccoli dies. Humbug stays alive, so Broccoli will not be winning this time. Goes out in 7th. Of course, Now he's got to pray that Ashmu or Kevin Parker or Double 61 do not win. Those 3 players are still alive and in check.
Butuh Zik 2 sih guys, butuh Zik 2 sih.
Maybe he's the one to stop him.
Satu lagi, dia gini-gini, satu-satu. Satu Miss Fortune lagi. Ini orang ngerol mulu gak dapet-dapet. Ini kurang satu lagi nih, dia gini-gini nih. Oh gede banget Eloy-nya, ya Eloy-nya pakai Titan tadi. Dan dapat augment Titan yang bisa ke 40. Harusnya sih tank item sih.
So it's going to be interesting to see how heavy he rolls here. Let's find out. Is he gonna hit?
Oh! Langsung ke 8.
Dazzler's really common as well for Jazz synergy.
Yep.
He's going for 4 Superfan. He's actually just going to try to juice up this Bard even further.
Yeah, that extra Omni Band from 4 Superfan could be so valuable here.
Yeah.
Humbug trying to stay alive again on this win streak with the last stand.
Now as well in there for him.
Yeah.
Lihat Humbug guys. Lawan Noel.
There's also the additional damage threat of this 2-item TF as well, so there are certainly threats on the other side. The question is Noel going to be able to break through?
Oh, Kevin Parker is dead!
Oh, Kevin Parker. Oh, Humbug. Grim Reaper nih Humbug nih. Asimo jangan-jangan bisa menang guys. Apakah Asimo bisa menang? Iya kalau Asimo menang nih 28 duluan dia menang dia jadi. Soalnya yang checkmate lainnya kalah duluan ya. Kevin Parker, double, broccoli.
We'll see what he can make happen. He's playing that 4 Dazzler board.
He's making me eat my words. I said he couldn't fast 9 and he's making it work. He's in 3rd place. Going against Malala with the Lucian 2.
Lawan Milala.
Is this going to be enough? Can Humbug once again defy the odds and swing this fight? It's all about whether or not the Ziggs can ramp up and how safe he can be. Meanwhile,
Lucian 2 ya.
Doesn't look like that Lucian's doing enough.
No, it's not.
Oh. Humbug atau hidup guys. Berhasil berarti ya. Strateginya dia berhasil ya, ke fast 9 mengandelin last stand ya. Butuh Echo 3 star.
I think we're going to
Sia-Simo.
There's just so much power on this last stand board. You've got the Yorick, you've got the Ziggs, you've got the TF, the 4 Dazzler. I do not think a Bard and MF with this front line stands any chance.
Yeah, the MF can just get so easily stuck on this Yorick as well. It's like you were talking about, Dan.
2 lives for Ashmu. The Humbug chance. Oh, the crash.
Humbug sih.
Vegas isn't ready for this to be over.
MF immediately.
Waduh, lanjut ke game ke-6 anjir, jam 7 berarti kelarnya ya.
Humbug able to do it. Ashmu just 1 fight away from glory, but he's seeing his frontline crumble. The Yorick with the Eternal Winter is stopping a lot of the damage coming in.
Gak bisa.
Humbug, can you do it? He does.
Wait a second. You look at this fight.
One more fight, one more carousel. Can anything change things?
That was a close fight. If you hit Nico 3, Ecto 3 on this next roll down, this is
ya harusnya ngejar Nico 3 itu.
Big roll down, and if he can actually scale and spike this board, he might be able to take it.
Iya, harus bisa sih itu tadi bisa tapi harus Nico 3 Echo 3 sih. Ini harus full roll ini. Dapat Lucian.
He's standing up
against some of his AoE damage. He's rolling.
He found Lucian. Found Lucian.
4 Jazz. Okay. Let's see if that makes a difference. I don't know.
And the thing is, Humbug hadn't scaled his board any further, right? He didn't get an item on Sona. The big problem is Humbug is playing with suboptimal items across the board, and this level 9 Lucian, remember, his board
nyari Zik dia, nyari Zik.
Yeah,
nggak dapet Zik.
A difference as we head into what will be the final fight. Can the last stand
allow in? Oh, we put Alawi in, but he's standing up.
Put the redemption in.
Did he celebrate too early?
He thinks it's enough.
He thinks it might be enough. Here we go, potentially the last fight of this game. And now we see whether or not this Misfortune and Bard can handle it. The front line.
Front line-nya tapi. Kita lihat. Asimo. Asimo. Menang sih. Oh enggak jadi. Save the lobby anjir si Hambak, cok. Lanjut lagi game 5, cok. Soalnya kalau kita ngeroll juga kemungkinan besar nggak dapet gitu kan. Lanjut game 5 anjir lah.
Everybody jumps up from their chair. Oh my goodness, Humbug in the spot that we thought he could not bring it back, scales out the board and takes it over Ashmu.
I thought maybe he did it, right? That Jazz gets stronger every single turn.
Hambak sang penyelamat lobby ya, si Asimu.
And I thought maybe he was gonna do it, but is that allowing not enough for?
No, I mean, again, last stand, the power, just that extra armor, the MR, the Omni Vamp, and that 4 Dazzler causing everything to bleed out. We saw it was so close, but Humbug really taking last.
Si Asimu tidak bisa tidur dengan nyenyak sih itu, guys. Penuh dengan penyesalan tuh, lihat tuh di belakang tuh. Lihat tuh.
When MF gets backline, one cast can be the death of those carries.
It was the carries versus the carries. At one point there were no frontliners in the way, so it was really a down.
Enggak, ini udah kelar sih harusnya game 6 nih.
I gotta ask, knowing that he lost that, do you think he would have had a better chance to roll to 0 on a? Do you think he wins against the Echo 3?
Yes, I think that was definitely the play.
I think he would have.
We saw how long the Echo was living with the heals from the Bard. I think that would have made a massive difference here. But honestly, as far as creative lines go, we haven't seen a Vast Jazz Baby line, and he played it so well. And as soon as Humbug hit, and again, you can see
yang ekspresif sendiri.
Excitable player here. Last stand. This was the point where Humbug was in 8th place.
Mukulin meja ya guys ya. Untung nggak banting keyboard anjir.
To win it all. And you can see against all these boards, the Bard, the scaling just too much. Ashmo so close. Watch this last fight. Echo trying to stay alive with those heals. He's so close, but falls right there. And at that point, Twisted Fate applies the Dazzler. The bomb is so
Edge
close.
of Night.
Edge of Night made a massive difference there. That was a great carousel selection.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Excellent choice by Humbug. I did not consider that possibility.
And now...
Iya, dia heboh sendiri dia.
And Malala. So 2 more people in check.
We have 6 players in check.
Oh my
God. 6 player in check, guys.
Game, it feels like it's coming down to the wire. We saw Broccoli narrowly losing his last fight. We saw Ashmu narrowly losing his last fight. Now, going into game number 6, 6 players in check. This is the part of the tournament where we will determine either who wins or whether we're having the miracle run from someone like Humbug.
Jadi ini tinggal nyari yang juara 1. Udah banyak yang check mid. Yang juara 1 harusnya yang menang. Kalau sampai 8 player cek gila sih, iya. Tapi kayaknya agak sulit sih. Semoga nggak tahu lah, kita lihat sih. Mungkin ntar ada yang kayak Hambak lagi ya, jadi Grim Reaper ya. Mungkin si Sasa yang tusun mulu.
Into the next game with 6 players.
Pastinya banyak legendary ya, iya.
It's so nuts, and you have to think that for Ashmu in those moments, you're trying to calculate how much value am I getting from 4 Jazz in this moment. It also just got changed in the patch, so it's maybe hasn't been playing these boards as often and has a more difficult time actually calculating how much is this going to give me versus what are my odds to hit an Echo 3 if I.
Berarti antara 6 ini juara 1 udah kelar ya. Jadi antara si Hambak kalau nggak si itu juara 1.
And now that we have 6 players in this position,
iya si Sasa.
6 games, 7 games, or we could go all.
Tuh dia 3 kali soalnya tusuk ya hitungannya 5 game tusuk semua aja.
Humbug can still win. He could get back-to-back first and win.
Yep. Let's go ahead and talk about somebody who knows a thing or two about winning. I heard we have Emily Wang on the line.
All right, everybody, give it up for Humbug. Picking up that win. I'm here with Emily Wang. What did you make of that game? This was an absolutely crazy performance. Humbug bringing it all the way back to last stand.
Ambil cuti ya bang? Enggak. Termasuk. Kalau termasuk ke game 7 kayaknya aku pamit dulu ya. Aduh turnamennya kok sering-sering gini. Iya. Kan beda jam.
If he was gonna pull it off. Yeah, and with that he denied checkmate, and now 6 players are on check. Who do you think is gonna take it with how they've been performing?
So far, I feel like Broccoli and Casey Double have been playing really, really well. So my bet.
Ini kenapa kameranya semakin ke bawah, Hajir?
Can be anyone. Like Humbug can go 1-1 and
mencari apa, Bang?
Alright, well, thank you, Emily. We're gonna send it right back on.
Di sana masih minggu, iya. Minggu malam berarti ya?
No breaks for this train. We are gonna chug along and go into game number 6. We're joined once more, Frodan, Azael, Makes. Welcome back to the couch.
Thank you.
Morth Dog, Makes. You're out there in the crowd. What's it like right now?
I am shaking so hard right now. I've been back there with the other casters, with the riot people. We're all watching. We're screaming. It's crazy out there. And
ada yang lesehan juga ternyata ya guys ya nontonnya.
They've been so fantastic for this entire day. They've been loud. They've been crazy. They've been chanting for players. It's so good.
My favorite thing there was the fact that when Humbug was in that 8th place spot, right, it was like, oh, he might be out, but the crowd cheered him on. We were hearing the Humbug chants, and what happened? He came back, and ended up winning it to take us to this game 6.
All right, let's just go ahead and break down. For anybody who might be late stragglers, they heard the hype was going on. What happened these past 2 games starting from game number 4?
I mean, this is
udah berapa match bang? Udah 5 game, 5 match.
Was on match point here and was going to be able to be the TFT Vegas Open champion, but it's Kevin Parker comes back ridiculously close round, beats him, puts himself in check. Then Ashmu in this game 5 here, he was in check. He was in that top 2 and had a chance to win.
Yeah, and every fight just came down to the wire. You could see them both almost ready to pop off. And again, watch the health. It's so close, but the TF here dodges it all with the edge of night, stays alive, and now we head to game 6, and it's wild. 6 people in check. It is anyone's game. This is crazy.
I love the sportsmanship as well from Ashmu. Goes over, congratulates Humbug after that loss. So many players think we so focused on, I can't believe I didn't win. I can't believe it. But he's focusing on how big of a moment it is for Humbug, who had been having a rough lobby, who had not been having the performance that he had wanted. He's one of the only 2 players that aren't in check, but comes up with that big win.
Iya, ini offline bang turnamennya. LAN.
Absolutely, and that's what makes, I think, the TFT community very special in many people's eyes. As much as
coba siapa guys yang bakal menang guys?
Friends, we're also rivals, but we're also cheering each other on. We're each other's biggest fans. I see so many people say, man, this guy is a beast, he's a demon. I really hope that he wins. I mean, I hope I win in High Roll too, but in reality, some of my practice partners and my buddies, the people I've known for years, some people have never met some of their closest friends in TFT.
Rank mereka apa ya bang? Kebanyakan kayaknya itu deh, Master, Grandmaster sama Challenger harusnya.
And I just can't be more grateful to be part of it.
Tapi Vegas Open ini kebuka buat siapapun ya. Jadi kayak kalian yang silver kayak atau kayak bisa ikutan. Apa ada yang nggak ada yang Challenger ya? Harusnya nggak ada sih.
Absolutely. This is the Cinderella open bracket story, right? You know, TFT, they posted the Twitter picture with
ada masih Maronnya nggak ada 8. Tapi kayaknya ini harusnya ini udah ada yang menang sih. Soalnya checkmate-nya udah ada 6 orang. 6 orang itu butuh juara 1 buat menang.
You can qualify in, and you can maybe win the whole damn thing.
And now we have 6 players on check. What about the players on the outside? Humbug showed what he can.
TFT Mobile masih kurang bugat ya dia.
And we could go into game number 7.
Semoga tahun depan sih diberesin ya mobile-nya. Kita lihat kayaknya lebih ke TFT sama Wild Rift kayaknya sama Valorant. Dan menurutku TFT juga rame juga di Indonesia guys. Masih mau kena omel ya. Lu kebanyakan gerak cung. 2, 1. Game start. Tuh yang ambil Paragis Boba nggak bisa dapat boom Boba lagi ya bang? Aku nggak tahu Asbila. Ini sistemnya gimana juaranya? Jadi ngumpulin 20 poin. 20 poin itu masuk ke checkmate. Nanti yang setelah orang yang dapat 20 poin juara 1 dia menang. Harusnya kayak gitu. Jadi kalian udah dapat checkmate baru bisa juara 1 baru. Makanya tadi kalau misalnya si Asim kan udah masuk checkmate di game 5 ya. Dan dia bisa juara 1, dia juara 1 tadi. Sayangnya dia nggak bisa ngelawan Hambak ya. Pialanya sabuk, iya sabuk MMA. Kalau yang ini. Ada Jakarta Open nggak sih guys? Ini diambil tentunya langsung dapat 2 Edi juga. Tapi kayaknya nggak bakal dilanjutin sampai akhir harusnya.
I don't think so. I believe we were seeing an interview with Crowan, one of the NA casters yesterday, where he played a lot of Annie on like day 1 and even day 2. His argument was, I just got it handed to me, and this might just be a situation where that is the case. But Noel in a very similar.
Ini gelut juga bang, tapi gelut otak bener juga sih. Bang Sim sih yang buat Jakarta Open. Riot aja lah. Aku tidak ada duitnya.
I mean, hey, if it's given to you, if you don't have to roll for it, if you just kind of natural into an 83, you don't have to fully commit to the line, right? So it's like, hey, if TFT God's going to give me an 83, I'll play an 83 and then I'll transition out of 9.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the big difference from this to something we saw, I believe, from Ashmer in the previous game with the That's Jazz, is the cap out. So like you're saying, even if you're running the Annie, you have to find a stronger board later on.
Nggak mau
we are going to go into augments here. It's going to be augments to start us off. We'll see if there's any exciting picks coming to mind. We're seeing that That's Jazz Baby in the top left corner. Is it going to be a re?
Tapi kalian kalau ikut acara offline-nya enak guys, sumpah. Besok paling aku bikin itu ya, bikin pengalaman ikutin 2 event offline-nya Riot ya. Kalian datang gratis, dapat minum, dapat makan, dapat merchandise masuk, merchandise keluar juga dapat. Yang TFT itu juga bisa dapat baju juga.
When you can get to level 9 very quickly, and so we'll see if Ash was able to do that. He took Cluttered Mine and he's.
Cluttered Mine, oke, Asimu.
I guess he just feels like his board is so strong that he can win streak. But it's it is surprising.
Cluttered Mine tuh kalau nggak salah yang menuin board kan.
So I think this is already a mistake. You see Ash can kind of reevaluate. Correct. I personally lean away from this. I think the thing about Cluttered Mine is you're focused on the economy. You're not focused on combat. And the worst case scenario is he wins, lose.
Oke, lawan. Oh, menang.
At least he's got that going for him here, but he still needs enough gold to fill this bench.
Yeah,
and he's not going to have enough here.
Ya, nggak cukup buat ngisi benchnya.
To get the gold to fill that bench, you can't be spending 2 turns.
Does he even have enough if he does? Because I think there was a lot of 2 costs in that shop.
I don't think.
So I don't know if he even had.
It was close.
Greedy nggak sih Cluttered Mine masih pengen win streak ya, tapi itu the best skenario sih. Biar cepet langsung. Soalnya ini tinggal menang aja guys. Yang kaptennya Mas Din itu bang acaranya enggak beda. Kalau kemarin tuh acaranya party gitu, main TFT bareng.
Yeah, and you can see on the other side, Humbug playing around that posture, does have the 8-bit quirky instead of the big shot, so has the Kai stand for the big shot, has 2 Mosher, and this Bloodthirster Urgot with Mosher is so strong in these early stages. The amount of vamp that you have is really going to push through a lot of these wins.
Yeah, Urgot especially in stage 2.
Cluttered Mine kalau bisa win streak sih GG guys.
He gets that shield for all the damage he does.
Why not gitu kan?
To just be so tanky at that point in the game. And so right now, Humbug and Ashmore are 2 win streakers going into the 2-3.
And for Humbug, it's kind of the success story, right? After that last game, the big question that's filling the room is.
Ini kalau Humbug menang lagi juara 1 sih gila sih guys. Lanjut ke game 7 aja.
He is for sure going to try and has that cyber great augment. Is going to get a lot of value out of that.
All right, we're going to see this fight here for Humbug here again. One of our win streakers. Goes up against Noel. Only has that quirky one, so should be able to continue the win streak. Has that Sunfire, the BT. Should be a solid win here. Also building up that 8-bit for a potential line. Not that we've seen a lot of that right now. Doesn't have a ton of gold to work with, but overall that win streak should help bring that back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this one not going to be that close, so going to be feeling good. But also when you slam Sunfire, you're really playing for tempo, right? This is not really that much of a late game.
Iyalah, tadi dia udah checkmate tapi gol juara 1.
But it really can push you through.
Iya, dia stres banget lah, bisa juara 1 tadi. Kalah-kalah gak ada hambak. Gak bisa, gak jadi tidur nyenyak kan. Mereka pro player bang. Ada yang pro player, kayaknya ada yang enggak deh. Ada yang streamer biasa. Tapi kayaknya ranknya tinggi-tinggi gitu.
With Annie though, it definitely makes her more of a threat. But again, the problem with the Annie comp is always you need that Shojin Nashers, and you need an insane frontline. Again, that extra power will help.
Tuh, mantap guys, si Asimo guys. Waterman win streak. Harusnya sih bisa win streak dia yang lanjut sih.
It's one of the reasons since the patch that it's so much harder to play that Annie reroll line because you can't just get your first free Shojins from Superfan, right? Jewel Gauntlet, sure, it's there, it's fine, but you really do want those Shojins. They're so incredibly powerful. Broccoli also worth noting.
Oh, Asimo hambak player casual kata Bang Fabian tuh. Tapi streamer juga nggak Bang Fabian?
But of course, he still is one of those 6 players that are in check and is looking to try to claim that title for himself.
Yeah, last game it didn't really work out for him.
Oh, enggak.
You know, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. That's just, you know, one bad game. Pumping up still an augment that caps out so
Oh, salah satunya Diamond.
Oke,
kalah.
It's a pretty nice fight for Ash being able to win, but unfortunately he loses, but that's okay.
Kebalikannya Clearman ya Bang, iya. Jadi ini harus menuin bench. Tapi mendingi Clutterman sih daripada Clearman sih. Lebih mudah.
As we do have the ability for Humbug to potentially finish off with the full win streak.
And for Humbug, like you're saying, that's a big narrative, right, going into this next game. He wants that win streak to keep going into the Crux, because that would be so good to get that up there.
Oh, Fabian dikit lagi Grandmaster kan?
Maybe try and upgrade something on the board, but it doesn't really seem like the shop is going his way.
I'm pretty impressed about how much damage he's able to output, even with just quirky no items. I think this just
udah Grandmaster udah. Dikit lagi berarti. Challenger-nya berarti sekarang berapa? Ini pada 300-an 500 ya? Oh, 500 sekarang. Kita harus belajar nih. Bang Fabian ya. Bang Dudut masih master. Kemarin udah 380, terus 88. Terus turun lagi berarti. Kalau masuk ke Challenger tuh berarti nunggu dulu kan? Update-nya tuh nunggu seminggu apa berapa hari sih Bang? Iya, nunggu jam 11. Iya, si Milala nih kayaknya. Dia mau main Annie. Saya juga dapat itu, dapat Tokman yang spell. Bagus juga itu. Damage-nya makin sakit nanti. Dapat Teko sama Amumu cuy. Ngerolnya cuma 2 kali guys. Udah tinggal 1 doang Annie-nya. Ini diberkahi oleh Annie nih.
That's actually really cool because that means he's rolling dynamically on stage 2. He's not just saying I'm just gonna wait in AFK, and he's collected a few Annies.
Mulai dapat Nico. Nah, 8 roll guys.
And that's the money spot. That's enough for you to economy back up, get to level 6, keep on pace with the tempo.
Yeah. That's the moment where you kind of do the question mark thing, like.
Jagoin siapa Bang? Gak ada yang aku jagoin sih. Aku melihat cara mainnya aja.
You play around the situation where you
Oh, jam
natural
11 malam.
DPs, you
Setiap
have
jam
the
11
Sonic
leader
just
change.
canceled them, was open to the line, and now we could see a spot where this Annie gets tons of kills, tons of stacks, and should be in a good spot. But this is a
Ngeri itu ntar yang ini reroll udah ada Nasor sama Ionic Spark. Tinggal bikin Sojin super fan yang lain ya. Komennya juga ngedukung. Gak ada spatula kan? Berarti nggak ada true damage lagi kan? True damage Caitlyn. Ini si Broccoli mainnya lost streak dulu ya?
Theoretically, that is the best damage output for Yone. A lot of people believe the edge Hodge is best. Is if you get a Banshee's, or maybe something like a Silver Veil.
Broccoli has Recombobulator.
Recombulator?
Broccoli has Recombobulator with that Yone.
Dengan Yone, tapi kayaknya nggak mau ngambil.
I mean, it turns into a 3-star forecast, and there's a lot of melee champions that love his item set in particular.
Kita lihat Recombulator tapi belum di roll. Oh, Israel too.
He's rolling for hearts. He even has even shroud, man. Like he's got the perfect items set up here. I think he's just rolling for a board, right? Find the 3-cop headliner. That is true. He just needs a board in here. This Ezreal could do a lot of work.
Oh, big shot.
Big shot tentunya.
Oh, Pantheon is fantastic.
Pantheon lumayan buat depan.
Guardian 3 super fan has a 2 big shot. We are at 3-2 with an Ezreal 2, even shroud in, 2 tank items on the Pantheon 2 headliner. This is an incredible spot here for Broccoli. He went on a 6 streak, only down to 73 HP, and now looking to turn it around.
Yeah, as long as he can build a front line to build this board, this is going to give him a lot of tempo. The question is, we haven't seen an Ezreal board cap out and win lobbies, so it's going to be up to Broccoli to take this tempo, convert that into
Gacha di turni mantap, iya, dan berhasil ya. Lumayan lah. Ini si bocah SD, bocah SD dan TK. Ini habis ini berangkat sekolah ya guys ya, jam 7 guys, 7 pagi.
And then you can still farm items even to late game where you get the extra thieves gloves, even a few extra components.
Gacha di turni yang tegang satu dunia.
Scale. So I think part of it is that people aren't as comfortable playing on Ezreal compared to some of the really powerful things like Akali. But I do know there's some believers. I was talking to Jisop over the weekend. He really believes Ezreal is that good.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know, I know we're on game 6 here. We're starting to hit that long point of the day, but look who's in first place right now on the 6-round win streak.
Tuh, Sasa kan ngamuk kan guys, dibilangin.
And if he wins, we would be going to game 7. So
I heard you like 6 games. How about 7?
We'll have to see.
He is going up against Broccoli, and that has to be a big storyline here. He's on that win streak, like you were saying, more than if it were to stop.
Tapi nggak kuat anjir, sakit banget tuh. Israelnya.
That Ezreal ult just deleted that board.
Kalau Sasa menang gimana? Lanjut game 7. Kalau mana yang belum checkmate menang itu tetap lanjut ya guys ya. Yang checkmate harus juara 1 buat menang juara 1. Jadi ada 2 orang yang belum checkmate, kalau 2 orang itu bisa juara 1 ya lanjut. Tapi nggak tahu nanti kalau game 8 kan, kalau di jadwal sih sampai game 8 ya.
Really needs the components for those Shojins, right? We talk about how Annie is very dependent on that item build, has plenty of power, but without that could be a free fall. So that's the risk you take when you play this Annie line.
That's a good point, and also has 1-star everything else besides Annie. So Annie 3 is great, a lot of DPS. Still need to put units in front of your carries. That's always been the beginning, it's been true since the beginning of TFT.
Yeah, she needs to ramp up at least 4 casts before she actually.
Waduh, 1 semua, 1 bintang 1 semua aja.
Good units, not really upgraded.
Yeah, no other upgrades besides the Annie, and these are not good Annie items. This is not a winning board. Like, just straight up, you can't win a lobby, I think, with Annie.
Nah, Annie-nya nggak dapat Sojin sayangnya. True damage guys si Asimo. Dapat spatula dia. Wah, ini GG sih kalau Asimo yang menang ya.
But it's just so tough because, you know, there's not that many.
Apakah ada Caitlyn true damage lagi, guys?
That's kind of my concern, is that it's like he doesn't have a single component towards it. If he's sitting on 2 tiers, you're like, hey, find some BF swords. If you're sitting on BF sword, hey, find a tier.
The other challenge here is that, you know, you mentioned Spellweaver, but he's already got AP from the augment from learning to spell.
Akali?
Exactly. So it's
Akali,
you
coy.
want to go that Spellweaver route. You're looking for something with just more frontline here.
Checking in with our open bracket hero, Ashby. He has a true damage emblem, trying to go for a hard
Apa ini anjir? Nggak bisa diambil. Oh, 2.
Finds 2 4 cost. That's a pair of
4 cost.
Now we've seen True Damage Emblem be so good all day, right? Do we put that on the Caitlyn? That's been the popular one. Play around that Akali, so definitely has a lot of options here.
The problem is his item set is kind of awkward because you have things like Rage Blade and Last Whisper, and I mean, you're doing true damage for a lot of portion of your damage. Last Whisper is less of a priority, and even then, you want to play around melee carries, you want to play around even Shroud.
Ya, tapi itemnya nggak terlalu bagus.
To Ashby's board, I want to see how he makes it work, because if he does, this man is cooking up something.
Yeah, and you can see it in his face even. That's a lot.
Jadi paling banyak 8 apa 9 gimana? Lebih banyak ke 8 dulu sih. Kebanyakan. Ntar baru apa? Boardnya kuat baru naik ke 9.
With a very elusive
Broccoli's really looking like he's kind of in the zone though. He's locked in. He's not reacting a lot.
Kalau kalian lihat, ini pada main ngerollnya tuh pada tipis-tipis gitu guys. Itu ngerollnya pas nyari headliner doang paling. Di 7, di 8, sama di 9. Jadi di 7 upgrade, nanti di 8 upgrade lagi. Kalau misal headliner di 7 nggak terlalu bagus ya.
Maybe something crazy can happen if it hits 3's the crowd as well. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you need kind of 3's the crowd.
Oke, Sasa tiba-tiba kalau urutan 4 anjir, tinggal 50 aja. Mau main country?
It's like you needed everything.
He also has Executioner Samira, which is lower cap because you usually only play for 2, and the 4 Executioner is not enough because you want to play for more that front line to get that 5 country. So it's actually not the correct Samira with that quotation points.
I feel like country also doesn't cap out as high. Looking at some of the boards that we have been seeing, like the true damage one that's just coming around every now and then. We've even seen a 7 country board lose to that.
Yeah, that is also true as well. He goes up against Annie 3 here from Malala, who still is not any closer to that Shojin, by the way.
He also only has 3 Samiras, and when the stats came up, it said I think there was only 9 remaining in the pool. So people are holding some, people are playing some at this point. So it is definitely an awkward spot.
Di YouTube ada.
Yeah, I don't think he should.
Maybe we have to figure out
Ini nonton di YouTube, tapi aku nontonnya ini di YouTube ada. Aku tapi nontonnya ini di Twitch ini.
But I think it caps a lot lower without a crazy powerful augment.
Gue mikir nggak ada turnamennya Bang TFT. Ada Bang Gum-Gum. Kalau di luar banyak. Di Indo ada baru tahunnya baru ada 1 sih, tapi akhir tahun. Kalau di grup WA ada weekly sih.
Saw little buddies, which is really high. Oh, raise the tempo. This is a really unique augment.
Augment.
Yeah, we haven't seen this in a while, but basically
Spellweaver ya.
Buat Spellweaver. This is going to allow Annie to get to that state quicker because she gets that double cast, and after she casts 4 times, that's when she gets into that really scary state here. And the other thing I wanted to call out with Malala is that even though he was on that loss streak, he has learning to spell. This is the thing that's going to keep raising his power. And now we're in a situation where he's on a 5-win streak. You know,
Jangan menang Annie ntar ini.
We do have to check in again though, because we're past Wolves. He didn't get a tier or a BF sword. Again, he's still just sitting on that spare bow. He had to make another jewel gauntlet there, so he's got 1 more PB phase. That's it.
Yeah, so we'll see. If people could deny that, right? Like say like, hey, I need that tier, and also Malala needs this, so I'm just gonna grab it.
Annie-nya cuy. Annie-nya cuy. Annie-nya cuy. Sakit banget.
I wonder how much AP that Agni is actually at this point.
Malala is on the table for real threats of this lobby. I will say that. It kind of depends on how the rest of this stage pans out, but him and Broccoli look like leading candidates to me right now.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that stacking AP, right? That's the thing.
Kevin Parker
kind of has a
Urutan
cap,
8
right?
ya?
It's like Annie starts to slowly fall off. But with learning Dispel, it's doing more and more and more damage as it continues to cap on, and that's going to be so powerful. Broccoli, on the other hand, Ezreal kind of at a cap here, down a silver augment, has used that tempo, lost his streak here, so now it's about how do you convert this Ezreal into something stronger, and right now we have 0 gold.
Yeah, he went 8 and did go to 0, so he's on that thresh to as the headliner. It is the Guardian headliner, so he has a pretty
Guardian headliner ya.
This is a good
the
board.
Ezreal's on 3 items. He's definitely a solid board for stage 4.
Yeah, agreed. And I think
Jadi headline depannya udah ada tankinya, belakangnya juga udah ada Ezreal ya. Harusnya udah lumayan.
Going up against a Kaisa 2, which is not very particularly powerful. Noel also, by the way,
Dun,
still in
dun.
contention. And he gets completely wiped, but he's going for a level 8 at 4-5 to see what he can hit.
Yeah, he has a lot of health to work with. Unlike some of the other players, Kevin is down to 25, and if he loses one more round, that might be crucial. We're gonna head into the carousel. He does
Ada
get this
Kiana.
one. Good to see.
Asimu.
His first pick could get the
Dia agak terakhir anjir
for
berkebun.
the Zona. Both could
Kiananya
Oh,
diambil
Sona's
kah?
available. Milano's third pick. But Sona's such a premium
And
unit.
it's gone.
No one's going to really pass Sona very often because she just fits in so well with her attack speed. It's just so powerful. to
Asimu
make
bingung
many
nih.
comps.
Looking at Humbug's board though and his items, it doesn't really feel like he can actually use that Zona. He can use the Crick Love if he wants to commit to a Samira reroll, but look at the items, he obviously can't really do that. So it feels like a super difficult position.
I think with little buddies, this Samira is gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? We're moving on to something else here. We have that blue buff, clearly looking for something
full
like
selling.
Ahri.
Here we go.
So we'll have to see on the roll down here. Again,
Oke, si Hambak
Ahri,
nyari
probably the high roll.
Ahri.
Wow.
Oh, dapat Ahrinya cuy.
Where I wasn't pressing buttons.
Nah, if you were, it would have been KDA already.
Dapat Eloy juga.
Wow.
Are you
Almost
sure you weren't
perfect.
pressing buttons?
Definitely a very good spot here.
Mordok dikira itu pressing button ya.
So at least gonna be
Ngebantu.
able to get there. Seems like at least a big upgrade.
That's 5 Spellweaver, right? He has that with the Echo, the Sona, Seraphine, and the +1. So he's on 5 Spellweaver. He's got 3 items, so he's got some damage. I mean, if he get, but what do you do with the IE and the BT?
Iya, AI-nya sama BT-nya buat siapa ya paling? Paling Akali doang yang bisa megang.
Why I think on the low he might long term. This is fine for now because Zavi's gonna win, but on the long term I think he might have to
Annie?
consider selling Zari.
Oh, Annie.
Because I think that in the end you want to play for either the KD because the Spellweaver it kind of limits you in terms of what you're able to actually do.
Apakah
unless you try to
Hambak
go for a
juga
big cat with
punya
Sona
chance
too, which is
guys
a little bit
buat menang ini?
He's gonna keep rolling. So he's definitely rolled down to 20, rolled a couple more times. We'll see. Does he actually want to send it further and try to find this Akali?
No one has a Kali. Yeah, they're all in.
I mean, it feels so bad. I feel like
Kiana.
That's a pretty decent item holder.
And so if he picks up, like, say, another RE2,
Nico sih harus diambil sih.
where you could there sell, but he also could have his back against the wall because he has so little HP that you can't sell because he's in a spot where he actually just lost too much HP.
Interesting. So he
Oke, dikasih Kaisa dulu ya.
For now, how do you like this choice more?
I think that's an okay choice for
Ini
now.
kalau dia juara kah baru 1 win kan dia? Iya. Tapi dia udah cek. Oh ya. 1 win. Jadi bakal ada game 7 sih kalau si Hambak main menang sih.
Now the one thing to note is does have those two the duplicators.
Nah ini 3 kalau late game lawan Ahri 2 bagus Ahri 2 kataku. Kalau dibuat late game nggak ngangkat
And the
ini.
thing with Kiana is Kiana's actually a very good blue buff user. You can do
Oh si Asimu nyawanya masih.
and then play something like the blood.
Asimu bisa ke 9 ini guys.
And that can be very
Dengan Cluttermine dan duitnya.
Now, Ashmu, we said that there was 10 Akalis in the pool, now has Akali 2 in 1 turn. And now is
Udah punya Akali 2
going
dengan
to
Quicksilver.
level 9. Ashmu is also in the conversation to win this lobby.
I mean, it's such an interesting board too, right? He's playing 4 Executioner with red buff, rage blade, true damage Vex. Like, this is
Vibes-nya itu ya, true damage, attack speed semua.
It's so impressive to me when people can figure out these kind of situations, right? Because I think it's a really complex state of the game. Have some weird items.
Ini Sasa lagi-lagi bisa-bisa tusun lagi guys, Sasa guys.
The bigger thing with Ashmu is the goal.
Dia ngerol-ngerol terus kayaknya
Rolling a little bit here, but he's one of the players
Samiranya nggak dapet
who
jir.
can 9 if he
GG bet ya.
I agree. I think
Oh
Ashmu
GG
is
sih.
looking
Kayaknya
very
Sasa kalah lagi
strong
guys.
here.
Tusun lagi nih.
Zaza though, not looking as strong. 3 losses.
Oke, udah ya.
Hate to see it, but he
Udah,
rolls down. I mean,
nggak bisa sih.
no gold left. He's on 7.
And knows that D1 gets a free win, and Sasa effectively forfeiting that he's too far.
Usod lagi Sasa.
And that means Humbug is all that stands in the way.
Yep. If Humbug gets knocked out, by the way, still no Shojin here on this Annie, so definitely not optimal items here.
But getting mileage out of that Annie. We're still middle of the field for Malala, top 3 now even.
Wah, Brokoli dapat Catherine.
Tapi
kayaknya nggak bakal diambil sih, nggak ada depannya dia. Kalau diambil. Gue kayaknya jadi.
Really high, it can just melt things regardless. So yeah, like you said, the big story, Humbug is all that stands. If Humbug wins,
Asimo ngambil.
Otherwise, this is the final.
Zig 2. Zig 2.
Yeah, he wants it. And he does have.
Wah, itu dikasih item.
So he picked up the Viego. So he has the Viego headliner for the Edgelord, but he doesn't have any items on it right now.
Iya, tapi Viego-nya nggak ada item sih.
I think in these kind of situations, you got to get rid of Clutter Mind. You're not going to 10.
He's doing that.
And I think this is kind of where it confused him because he was looking at his board, can I actually make a better board? And now he lost a bunch of HP. This is -1 life. That could be a critical mistake for Ashmoon.
Yeah, the good news is he does have a Ziggs 2. He is level 9. He's ahead of the pace of the lobby. So maybe can trade a little bit of health for one turn to stabilize. You know, do we keep the Viego here? Do we resell it? Try to go for something else here?
Viego-nya menurutku sih harus dijual sih, cari.
I feel like you've got to move these over to something like Ziggs. That's got to be a little bit better. But otherwise, decides with the red buff on Viego.
Yeah, I thought the red buff was going to go on the Ziggs.
Yeah.
Iya, harusnya tuh red buff-nya di Ziggs sih.
He's cooking up something else.
Is this really our strongest board when we look at kind of how things are set up? I don't know if this Samir's a legitimate carry. Rage Bay's one of her worst.
Ya, harusnya Samira sama itunya sih kurang gitu. Viego-nya dijual nyari tanker lain maybe. Ahri 3 kah?
I think we'd be going to game 7. So we'll have to see if that can happen.
How good is RE3 now, Mort?
Annie. Annie. Gimana, Devi? Annie dengan Ahri. True damage lagi.
Crowd diver emblem, disco emblem, pentakill emblem, a lot of viable options here. True damage.
Ini diambil kah?
Noel's gonna pick that up. We do see crowd diver picked up by Kevin Parker here.
Si Asimo bakal ngambil apa ini? Harus.
Taking the punk emblem.
Hah? Ngambil.
Could roll it maybe, but
Pentakill?
interesting choice.
That has to be it. Malala. Oh, he's maybe rolling for KDA emblem.
Gue kayaknya jadi Sasa kalau ikut turnamen.
Something a little more useful.
Emo, you know, he can make it to Emo emblem as well. It's a craftable emblem.
Does he have a salvage bin?
No, he has a. Doesn't he have? Oh.
Ke 9 di Brokoli ngambil Poppy. Kiana. Kiana cuy langsung dapet.
That is big.
Oh my gosh! Wait, that is massive.
And Broccoli has had pumping up running this whole game, right? So he has so much free attack speed.
Anjir, hoki banget ya. Ngeroll 2 kali ya dapat Kiana tadi.
And we'll see. Blitz 2 comes in as well. That's Shojin even now on the Kiana, plus all the free attack speed from pumping up. This is going to be a lot of casts coming out from this Kiana.
The Kiana's position in front of the Poppy. If you can get some cast, no sense he's going to Yorick. He wants to be able to farm these items. Oh, that's.
Caitlyn-nya sakit sih.
That's actually a big deal. The fact that the Kiana aggroed onto the Yorick instead. Wow, that is roll.
Aduh, Caitlyn-nya.
And it's so close. This Ezreal's barely surviving.
Aduh, tidak.
Wow, huge win here for GSG Broccoli.
Something that I absolutely hate is on Noel's board. It's now like the 3rd time.
Aku pengen melihat Asimo. Lucian.
Not able to transform it into anything.
Yeah, look at the health, by the way, of this lobby. We talk about close lobbies. Oh my God. First place is in 28th, 7th place is in 12th. This is still anyone's game. And remember, right now, 6 of these 7 players, if they win, it's over. So this is getting pretty crazy here. KC Double has this Akali.
Kiana bukan tanker kan, Bang? Bukan. Dia frontline tapi di damage. Annie.
So big. The Akali's gonna act onto the tentacles. In fact, a lot of this positioning indicates that Malala is happy.
Walked around it.
First ult is gonna come in.
Well, the Akali's getting actually a lot of value. It actually went around. The
Akalinya sih.
Akali went right in the middle and it's getting
Eninya.
crazy value with the shuriken.
Oh, malah ke tentakel dulu. Tentakel dulu. Oh, Eni.
We gotta see how much health people have now. Double 61 down to 5. Noel down to 12. No, he's actually
Noel.
dead as an update, so he's out. We got 12, 12.
Aku ingin melihat boardnya Asimu, guys.
This is crazy.
Yeah, this next fight, 6-1, we're gonna get a very good glimpse of the lobby because we could lose 3 players.
I really want to see what Ashmu's board is now.
Iya, makanya Asimu boardnya sih ini.
He actually has 20 gold. He's been sitting at 9, so he's feeling somewhat comfortable and does have that extra life to give.
Don't look now. That 6 crowd diver is so big for this competition. We talked about 6 crowd diver being one of the highest win rate comps in terms of traits.
Tim Glove kan.
Kevin Parker is streaking. He is on the low. One of the biggest threats in this lobby. We're going to see a big roll down here.
Yeah, Ashmu going to be rolling down. He has a pentakill and a true damage emblem here. I think he might be looking for that York for the 5 pentakill, but I'm not sure what he's going to go for.
The roll down isn't really working the way Kevin intended. Does find the Kane headliner, does not want to pick that up. Keeps going here, and the board doesn't come together.
Broccoli just hit double Sona. That is huge for him as well because he wants to ramp up his entire composition. Ashman's pentakill Akali. Is this good enough? He does have 2
Pentakill
lives.
Akali.
Kevin Parker with 6 crowd divers.
Yeah, we see the Viego doing his work here. He's got that true damage emblem. It's on the back, providing that extra damage. There's just so much. But unfortunately, it looks, it's going to be close to Akali. He's back up. Zig's doing his best. It's going to be really close here.
Zignya? Oh, nggak bisa Zednya.
And Ashmu takes a loss down to what
Broccoli is out.
Double still fighting, but it's looking dire.
Oh, Broccoli keluar, guys.
Oh my god, Humbug now.
Humbug is now the...
He can push us to a game 7.
Yeah, he could. It is on the table.
Waduh, game 7 udah bang cukup. Aku mau masuk kantor. Aku mau berangkat kerja, bang. Kalau game 7 berarti jam setengah 8-an. Setengah 8 iya kelarnya aja.
We're getting some adjustments to our comp here, trying to move these items around. We've got 3 items on the bench. Yep, really needs that Kiana too. It's going to be so close here as we head into
antara Kevin Parker. Kita lihat Kevin Parker. Kita lihat Asimu lagi. Anjir, langsung mati anjir kena Eni. Eninya udah sakit banget, guys. Eninya udah sakit banget itu.
Malala scaling. The rage play Annie won't be denied. Is Ashby dead? He is.
Humbug's at 1 health.
Humbug's living.
Humbug nyawa 1, Asimu keluar ya. Ini final game sih antara Kevin Parker. Kevin Parker sih menurutku, guys. 6 crowd diver. Kevin Parker sih juaranya. 6 crowd diver. Double kill juga bisa si Kevin Parker.
And he's done it before in game 4. He was the one that stopped Broccoli from running away with this competition.
Lawan Humbug ya.
Up against Humbug here, we don't know who Malala is facing, but if he takes out Humbug, it is secured that the tournament will end.
Oh, Kiananya. Humbug? Lah, malah menang Humbugnya. Oh, Humbugnya menang. Humbugnya menang, anjir. Tinggal Milala lawan Milala. Anjir, game 7, cok. Game 7, cok.
Has been stacked up for so long, has great augments to get her ramped up. We talked about it wasn't ideal items, but he made it.
Kasihan si Asimu sih, dia 4 besar mulut. Dia menang.
Use of the augments.
So much of it is about the positioning with the Kiana, right? We saw the difference the Kiana.
Ini kalau Milala menang udah kelar. Hambak menang lanjut game 7 ya. Ini pertarungan nih. Pertarungannya si Devi nih. Antara Ahri melawan Eni, guys. Kita buktikan. Eninya tapi sayangnya nggak ada Sojin. Ini nggak bisa. Hambak sih harusnya. Pacin hambak lagi. Milala masih ada nyawa. Eninya nggak bisa sih, kurang Sojin. Iya, crowdnya dukung hambak. Hambak soalnya orang biasa katanya Mbak Fabian. GG lanjut game 7 anjir. Hambak langsung masuk checkmate. Oke, Eninya dipindah. Kiananya harus bisa mati duluan sih. Nah, nih Kiananya kena stun Ahri. Nice. No. Oh ya kan? Oke. Ahrinya menang Milala. Milala juara, guys. Dipindah Eninya biar bisa nge-target Kiana dulu kan. Ahri tuh bagusnya bisa nge-stun frontline depan ya. Jadi kayak counternya Yone, Kiana gitu-gitu. Eni yang menang, guys. Eni. Gimana Devi komentarnya? Teorimu langsung digagalkan oleh Milala ya. Teorinya Devi digagalkan langsung, cuy. Itu dia bawa dua-duanya anjing, Bang. Emang harus bawa Ahri buat ngestunnya masalahnya. Jadi bagus banget gara-gara si Ahrinya tadi kan ngestun Kiana kan. Makanya langsung ditambahin damage-nya Ani. Langsung nyawanya 3,5. Akhirnya jam 7 ya. Bisa tiduran lah 30 menit ini ya. Itu satu orang kenapa balik? Iya itu si Asimu nyari barang-barangnya paling. Coba si Asimu itu nggak bisa tidur nyenyak gitu guys. Hampir juga menang juara 1 ya tadi.
So excited to present $100,000 to our first Vegas Open champion. Congratulations.
Azab orang nabrakan. Gimana kalian mau main Eni atau True Damage guys? Coba tulis di live chat.
Yeah, honestly, like the entire day I wasn't playing that well. I like bought forward the first couple games, and in the last game I got like a really good Annie spot, and I thought.
Semoga Sasa nggak uninstall ya dia. Tusun mulu anjir. Terus Sasa tuh kayaknya jago harusnya. Dari Eropa. Semoga Asimu sehat-sehat ya. Dia semoga sehat-sehat.
I honestly can't believe it. I've met like a bunch of my online friends at this LAN, and they've all been super supportive, and it's just been an overall amazing experience.
Give it up one more time for your TFT Vegas champion, Malala! Congratulations! Thank you all so much for being here at the first ever TFT Vegas LAN. We are so looking forward to seeing you all next time.
Tetap Caitlyn terus damage. Kayaknya seru ya. Caitlyn terus damage, guys. Oke, thank you guys. Pas banget jam 7 ya. Kita bisa berangkat melakukan aktivitas di hari Senin. Kerja, sekolah. Kalau sekolah udah berangkat harusnya ya. Sampai ketemu lagi nanti malam. Main TFT maybe. Thank you guys semuanya. Selamat beraktivitas hari Senin. Bye bye. Jangan lupa sarapan guys.